Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto becomes overpowered at a young age part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. The seemingly ever-rustling leaves of the forest were now ablaze. The usual calm atmosphere of the place was now turned completely opposite, the birds leaving their nests instead of returning to them, the insects finding a place to rest far away from this chaos, the beasts running away from what appeared to be far more beastly. Among these, there stood a civilization of humans living in what appeared to be a village. But at this moment it was rendered under complete chaos, as people ran away with their children to protect their lives. Houses, property, money, fame, nothing mattered at the moment, except their existence. Yes, Konoha was under attack, by Kyubi no Kitsune, aka the nine-tailed demon fox. Utilizing the only chance of defeating the fox spirit and saving the village, the Yondaime Hokage sealed it in a newborn baby using a powerful technique, which unfortunately was a double-edged sword and resulted in his demise. The newborn child lay there, and as heard from the dying Hokage, he was the hero of the village. His name was Naruto. Few years later, a kid ran through the streets of Konoha as a group of villagers chased him in hot pursuit. He was a mess, to say the least. His clothes were tattered, his hair were dirty, and his eyes, well, his eyes, they showed a mixture of feelings. Anger? Yes, a little. Fear? A little more. But the most visible emotion out of all was only one: confusion. Why? Why did it just have to be him? His mind raced. Suddenly, he turned into an alleyway. Mistake. It was a dead end. He turned to see himself surrounded by numerous people. The look in their eyes was so cold it could turn something into ice. Suddenly he was hit in the head by a blunt object. He felt his consciousness disappear slowly as he drifted into darkness the moment he hit the ground. Drop, 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 A/N. Just imagine when Naruto enters his mindscape. I can't write that voice of water drops hitting the water here. He woke up slowly, hearing the voice, only to find himself in a closed tunnel-like place with doors surrounded by darkness. Through one of those doors he heard a low-pitched growl. Cautiously, he treaded into the tunnel only to find a huge room on the other side of which seemed an equally huge cage. Ironically, it seemed to be kept in check by a small piece of paper, which was probably quite a powerful seal to hold a cage of this size. He walked in front of the cage step by step, water splashing under his feet, reflecting a pale yellowish light that illuminated the room. Beyond the cage lied complete darkness. As he walked towards the cage, a sudden growl came from the cage along with an incredibly fast claw that emerged from between the bars of the cage. It looked to him like he missed by an inch or two. He landed back on the ground, afraid of what lied in front of him. Through the cage he could see two menacing eyes, sharp fangs as large if not bigger than him, and a fierce red aura surrounding a shape which resembled a fox. Where was he? Why was he here? The last thing he could remember was being cornered in a street by some villagers. Did they kill him? Was he dead? Was he sent to hell now for the reason everybody hated him? Was this the form of some deadly soul reaper? Tens of questions came across his mind, but before he could make head or tail of anything he heard a voice, a deep, unnerving voice. Child of man, why have you come here? What is it that you seek from me? Wait, I didn't ask to be here. Why am I here? And to be precise, what exactly is here? I don't even know where I am, exclaimed Naruto. Ah, so you don't know what this place is, brat? Ha ha ha, this is going to be troublesome then. Maybe this could make it easier, said the creature as it flashed 9 glowing tails from behind. Suddenly it hit him. It was the 9-tailed fox spirit that attacked the village all those years ago, and the Yondaime Hokage sealed it in a newborn child. He heard villagers talking about that incident when they thought he was unconscious, but he actually wasn't. He couldn't understand how it was related to him at the time, but now he understood what it was all about. Everything. The way everyone treated him like he was some monster, some kind of a freak of nature, it was all now crystal clear to him. He was the child in which the Yondaime Hokage had sealed the demon fox. You're the 9 tails. The one who attacked Konoha all those years ago, exclaimed Naruto. It was not my wish to onslaught the village, brat. I couldn't care any less, to be honest, said the Kyubi. Then why did you do that? Asked Naruto. Humph, you're 1,000 years too young to understand that, brat. Now, get lost, you're disturbing my slumber, said the Kyubi as he emitted a huge wave of killing intent that pushed Naruto back from that place and into the reality. He opened his eyes to find himself in a closed room with dim lights. As he wandered his gaze around the room, he could see a figure standing close to the wall on the other side of the room. As he groggily woke up on the bed in an upright position, the person came closer and said, "You should take it easy for now. You might still have a concussion after what happened. You were hit pretty hard." He inspected the person head to toe. Judging by the long flowing violet hair on the back, it was a girl, wearing a traditional ANBU attire with a mask on the face which resembled a cat. "Oh, Nico-chan, it's you again. I see you saved me. Thanks very much," said Naruto. It seemed that she had saved him on multiple occasions even before this one. Before she could say anything, the door opened and an old man entered the room wearing a robe that only one person in the village had authority to. He was the Sandaime Hokage of the Leaf Village. "Greetings, your service," said the woman as she kneeled on one leg and bowed her head. "Ah, Nico-chan, I suppose you saved our Naruto-kun yet again. You have my regards," said the Hokage politely. "You humble me, Hokage-sama. It was my duty, and nothing more," said the ANBU agent. Slightly nodding in acknowledgement, he walked towards Naruto. "What happened out there, my boy? Can you explain the situation which led to you in this state?" asked the Hokage nicely. Remembering the situation, a lump formed in his throat, but he had decided that he would be strong and not cry unnecessarily. He exhaled a deep breath. The ANBU were trained to be heartless so that they can think clearly in a mission, but watching a young kid being ostracized by the whole community made the woman standing beside clench her fist in anger, as well as sadness. He started explaining slowly. "I was out to buy some food and groceries for this month. When I was heading back home, somebody caught me from behind and then threw me in an alleyway. I don't know if people saw it or not, but nobody came to help. I was frightened, so I ran away as fast as I could. But I stumbled upon a dead end when a few people attacked me. Next I knew, I was here," finished Naruto. He looked as if he could start sobbing any minute now, but he put up a brave face. Hearing this, the Hokage was infuriated. Those damn civilians, not leaving a single chance to spare this boy. "Nico-chan, I want to hear the scenario from your perspective. What exactly happened there?" asked the Hokage, which sounded almost like an order. "Hokage-sama, I was on my way to submit my report regarding my last mission. I saw some ruffians chasing someone in a lonely area behind the market. I decided to investigate in case if someone was being harmed. As I reached the rooftop, I saw one of those men hit Naruto in the head from the back with an iron rod. I attacked those present there without a second thought. Some are dead and some may be half dead. I carried him here to the ANBU medical squad as quickly as I could," reported the cat-masked woman. "And exactly where the hell is his ANBU guard who was on duty today?" asked an angry Hokage. She flinched at the tone but knew that it wasn't directed at her. "Apologies, Hokage-sama, but I don't know. I'll have to check." "Wait here. Tiger, appear at once," ordered the Hokage to nobody. Suddenly, a man with a tiger mask appeared from the ground who was seemingly the captain of the ANBU Black Ops. "Bring me whoever was on duty now." The Hokage's voice was now attaining a deadly tone. "Hi, Hokage-sama." A sweating and terrified ANBU disappeared. The Hokage saw a bag full of groceries lying near the bed. Maybe Nico carried it with Naruto here. "If you don't mind, may I look at the handbag, Naruto?" he asked. Naruto shrugged in affirmation. When he took a closer look at the handbag, the Hokage found that almost all of it contained instant ramen. "Not that I'm stopping you from eating whatever you like, my boy, but you should take care of your health by eating different nutritious foods. You'll fall ill if you eat the same thing regularly," told the old man with a concerned look on his face. "It's not that I don't know that, but the problem is that all other foods are out of my budget. The only thing that I can eat and can buy is ramen. Old man Tsuchiyata Chirakas gives it to me at a normal price. He even offers me food sometimes when all my budget is over and I'm hungry," said Naruto. "Wait, that isn't possible. I give him enough money so that he can live a normal life, unless," thought the Hokage. "Naruto, can you tell me how much a pack of bread or a bottle of milk costs you?" asked the Hokage. Let's see. 250 ryo for the bread and 300 for the milk," told Naruto. "Wait!" exclaimed the two voices as even the ANBU woman couldn't keep her surprise in check. "Yes, but I get instant ramen for 10 ryo a pack, which is quite cheap, so I can eat a lot," grinned Naruto. "Damn those villagers, they are overcharging him for no reason whatsoever," thought the Hokage. In the meantime, the captain brought along the one who was responsible for guard duty, whose mask looked like a wolf. "Would you care to explain what happened, or should I have you thrown out right now?" exclaimed the Hokage. "Apologies, Hokage-sama. I was on guard duty as usual, but I saw someone attack the boy from shadows with kunai and shuriken. I was able to deflect the attack, but the intruder engaged me. I was able to defeat him, but he managed to escape. After that, I tried to find the boy, but he was nowhere in sight. I've been looking for him until Captain San relayed me that you summoned me immediately," reported the man. "So not only civilians but ninja are also involved in these attacks. Damn, this is worse than I thought," the Hokage thought. "Okay, now listen to me carefully. Tiger, you are to investigate all of the surviving attackers and the ninja who engaged Wolf. Wolf, you are to investigate all the shops who sell overpriced goods to him. Should any of them resist, drop them to Ibiki. Finally, Nico, you are to drop Naruto home safely and be on guard duty for the rest of the day," ordered the Hokage. "Hi, Hokage-sama," all three of them said as Tiger and Wolf shunshined, body flicker technique, away. Naruto was about to go to his home but decided to tell the Hokage something instead. "I know," he blurted out. "What do you mean you know? What are you talking about?" asked the Hokage. "Now I know why everyone hates me. Why I'm treated like I'm a nobody. Why I'm always being punished. The reason why I'm an outcast," said Naruto. Both of the adults were completely shocked. "It's because the demon fox spirit that threatened the village years ago was sealed within me by the Yondaime Hokage, isn't it?" asked Naruto. But how did you know this, Naruto? I forbade anyone and everyone to talk about this matter as a decree," said Hokage. Naruto slapped himself mentally. He couldn't just say that he met the fox inside his mind. To cover up, he said a quite convincing lie. "Well, when I was being chased, one of the men said that he'd killed the demon fox before it kills everybody. And it wasn't tough to deduce after that. Everybody knows that years ago on that day the fourth Hokage sealed it in a newborn child. That'd be me then," said Naruto. "Damn those stupid villagers, I didn't think that they'd stoop this low," thought the Hokage. "Nico-chan, you wait here. I have to talk to Naruto in private," said the Hokage as he took Naruto by hand and guided him towards his chamber. He placed a privacy seal there so that nobody could interrupt or eavesdrop their conversation. "So Naruto, now that you know this, what do you intend to do, my boy?" asked the Hokage politely. "I won't be scared of them no matter what they do. One day I will become Hokage and then everybody will respect me like they respect you," said Naruto bravely. "Hee, and here I thought I'll have to counsel you. Now that I know you're not going to do anything reckless, I suggest you start some basic training for self-defense purposes. Here, I'll lend you some of my old scrolls I used when I was a child," said Sandaime Hokage. Naruto's eyes could be seen glimmering anime style as the scrolls were handed to him from some old cupboard. "Arigato, GG. Thanked Naruto as the old man could be seen smiling due to the fact that the boy considered him as family. He summoned Nico, and then both of them left the place. It seems that this place is not safe anymore for the kid alone. I'm sorry, Yondaime Hokage, for I have failed you until now. But I will not repeat my mistake. I have to find someone who can protect as well as train him. And there is one person that's perfectly suited for the job," a smirk forming across his face as he thought. Through the windows, rays of sunlight shone upon a bed as dawn emerged. Usually, a young blonde child is seen here wearing night clothes and a wand-like cap, holding his pillow tightly as if it was the last thing he could hold on to in this uncaring world. But today, well, the bed was empty. Instead, he could be seen lying on the floor in a deep sleep with a drool hanging around the corner of his mouth. Around him numerous scrolls could be seen open, showing that he was training the past few days regularly day and night. Probably fell asleep then and there from exhaustion. As the light rays hit his eyes, he started to wake up. Yawa, what time is it? When did I fall asleep? He yawned as he sat upright. The clock on his bedside table showed the time to be 9:20 a.m. I guess I overslept. I have to go train again, so I'd better get ready super fast, said Naruto as he got up to do his morning routine. At Hokage's office, the Sandaime Hokage was seated at his place working on the only thing that didn't ever seem to end regardless of how much or how fast he tried to complete it. Paperwork. And it was filled with all sorts of crap. To his nuisance, many were directed upon Naruto. These included locking him in a cage, dropping him in the forest, and some even went as far as to have him shut up for good or disposed somewhere anonymously. He would have immediately sent ANBU to retrieve these people, but ironically, these were applications under false name and details not to reveal their true identity. The applications named to the Hokage were always sent to him as a rule so that no corruption on the lower levels can take place, or that any information might not be sabotaged. At the moment, there was nothing he could do about it. Being a Hokage is far more boring than it looks like. Well, by miracle, if something interesting happens, he might be relieved of this even for a short while. Suddenly, he heard sounds outside his office. Wait, please. We can't let you in without his permission. Sorry, Abu Crash. Sandaime Hokage is working at the moment. Please don't disturb. Thud. The door of his office flung open, and there stood the person he had contacted just a few days ago. He could also see one other person standing behind, and the two ANBU guards who were supposed to keep watch at the gate could be seen piled up on one another, crashed at the wall. You better have a good goddamn reason for calling me here, Sarutobi-sensei. Came a voice from the far end. Ah, I was expecting you soon. Although I didn't expect you to be this excited being here, as Tsunade? He smirked. The person walking towards him could be seen as a lady appearing to be in mid-30s with silky, flowing light blonde hair with two braids behind her head. She had a pretty face with dark brown eyes and her lips so pink you couldn't tell if it was lip gloss. In addition to that, a rhombus-shaped mark on her forehead made her look a lot more cuter. She wore a gray-colored kimono-type sleeveless blouse and a waistband which matched her pants, on top of which was a loose green-colored haori. To other people, especially men, however, the most distinguishable feature of hers was two very large-sized curves on her chest, between which a green necklace was kept in place from both sides and hanging from her neck. Hell, few men wish for God to reincarnate them as that necklace in their next life. This was one of the legendary Sannin, Queen of Slugs, granddaughter of Shodaime Hokage and a master of medical ninjutsu, who also happens to be one of Sandaime's students, Lady Tsunade. She took a seat in front of the Hokage while the person behind her closed the door and stood behind her seat. She was a younger woman in comparison who appeared to be in early 20s. She had jet black hair which covered her ears and reached up to neck length, and her eyes were as black as her hair. She wore a full-sleeved black kimono. She held a plump pig in her folded arms, which was Tsunade's pet. Her name was Shizun, and she was Tsunade's apprentice as well as assistant. The name of the pet was Tauntaun. He motioned for the ANBU in his office of leave, and they complied, after which he raised up a privacy seal. What's up with the suspense? Spill it out already, asked an impatient Tsunade. What I'm about to ask you is a favor, Tsunade. It is more personal than professional, you could say, explained the Hokage. You know about the child that saved the village on that night, I suppose, he said. Yeah, what about him? She arched her brows as she asked. Apparently, many of the villagers still bear a grudge against him. He has faced many hardships, from being overcharged for goods to being beaten badly. I placed ANBU for his protection, but it seems that it is not quite enough now. I was negligent over this before, and I realize my fault. I cannot change the past, but I must make amends for the future, he explained. Her heart skipped a beat upon hearing about the boy, but still she kept her composure and asked him, although she knew which direction the conversation was going into. And what role do I have in this matter, if I may ask? I need you to take the boy away from this place for some time so that he can train properly and is able to protect himself when the time comes. Given his state, sooner or later there surely will be people after him for the power he possesses, he explained. What, do I look like a babysitter to you? Why don't you ask somebody else to do it? She said as she turned her head and folded her hands. Tsunade, that boy has never experienced the love and care of a family. As Hokage, there is very little I can do for him myself. And in my eyes there is no one more qualified to train him outside of the village, he said. What about the council and the elders? Didn't they oppose it or something? She inquired. Nobody except for those in this room know about this. Should you accept this, then I'll take care of whoever poses a problem. I'm the Hokage, for Kami's sake I don't have to listen to every blabbering mouth, he finished. I need to see this for myself, so I need some time. I'll be leaving for now. Do you know his whereabouts? The boy, I mean, she said. This is the location of his house. But as far as I can tell, he might be training somewhere in the grounds, he said, remembering about the scrolls he gave the boy just a few days ago, and also the talk he had yesterday. Very well, come on Shizun, we're out of here, she said as she stood up and turned to leave the room with a closely following Shizun. Flashback. Yesterday. At Hokage's office. I have brought him here as you directed, Hokage-sama. An ANBU kneeled in front of the Hokage. Thank you, Hawk. You can leave now. Rest of you may also leave, the Hokage said. He then set up a privacy barrier. Why did you call me here, Gigi? He asked incessantly. Let's just say I have a surprise for you. So what I wanted to ask was, what would you want to have if somebody gave you a gift? he asked, smiling. I would want a friend, he said with a glint of hope in his eyes. Ha ha ha, I hope an old man isn't enough these days, huh? He said, hoping to have some fun with the little kid. No, it's not that. I mean, that wasn't what I meant. He rubbed the back of his head uncomfortably. Don't sweat it, boy, I'm just messing with you, he said to the relief of Naruto. So what is this surprise again that you were saying? He asked. It isn't a surprise if you know beforehand, Naruto. And I'm not sure what it will be either, to be honest. It'll be a surprise to me too how the events unfold, he said. Huh, what's that supposed to mean? Naruto asked. Never mind me, so tell me, what have you been doing these past few days? Any problems with the villagers again? He asked. No, Gigi, the masked people scare them off, so I'm okay. And also I've been training in the grounds since you gave me the scrolls. I can't wait to show you how much I have learnt, it's so exciting, he told excitedly. He could see the excitement as well as the wear and tear that could be seen on his clothes and well as scratches on his hands. The more I think about the matter, the more I think I did the right thing. Just wait a little more, boy, you will surely appreciate it, he chuckled internally. Can you please lend me some more scrolls, Gigi? I want to read more about them, he asked. I'm sure you would like that. But more importantly, Naruto, listen to this, you need to complete the basics before you move on to the next level. If your basics aren't strong, then nothing advanced can be learned properly. On the contrary, if you master the basics, then you can use them in every technique you learn. Think of them as the foundation upon which a great monument stands strong, the Hokage explained. Oh, now I understand. I will master the basics as soon as I can, said Naruto, giving his signature grin. Very well then, Naruto, I think I'll have to get back to work. Good luck on your training, he said. Okay, later, Gigi. See ya, said Naruto as he stormed off excitedly for probably another round of training. Somewhere outside the village. I can't believe I have to go back to that village again. And on top of that, I don't even know the reason I'm going there. I swear if the old man doesn't give me a good reason to have me summoned there, I'll make sure he regrets it every day of his life, the blonde lady said. Please calm down, Lady Tsunade. Hokage-sama must have a good reason to call you. And we'll reach it by tomorrow morning, so there's no need to worry, we have to be just a little more patient, said her assistant, trying to calm her down. Oink oink, the pig said, oinked, in affirmation. Flashback ends. What a boring old place this is. It doesn't even have a tavern. I wanted to blow off some steam, and who knows when we'll get the chance to be in a tavern again, Tsunade said. What do you mean by that, my lady? Does that mean you're going to accept Lord Hokage's proposal? Shizen gave a sly smile. Well, I mean, I don't know for sure. We'll see about that later, she said. They dawdled around a bit in the village, after which they decided to take a look at Naruto's home since there was nothing interesting around the village. The Sandaime Hokage was very strict about the people, especially children, picking up bad habits such as gambling. Naruto's apartment. When they saw the locked door, they realized that the Hokage was indeed telling the truth when he said that he'd be out training somewhere. Shizen opened the door using the spare key that the Hokage had given them to look at the place in case Naruto wasn't around. As they had a look around, they found it giving a nasty vibe, to be precise, in one word, uncomfortable. The walls of the place were pale and gloomy, and had cracks all over, and there was only one window in the bedroom. Other than that, it was almost too dark to see. There was one small table on which empty instant ramen cups were scattered. Overall, it looked like it had seen a war or something like that. These weren't proper living conditions for a young child who didn't even have parents or anybody to look out for. Except for that, he had kept the place as tidy as it could be. There wasn't dirt or a mess anywhere except for the ramen, and the bed was properly made. There wasn't a refrigerator, so he'd have to buy and eat things as early as possible, such as milk. As they were checking around, they lost track of time. Suddenly the door flinged open and Naruto barged right in. Who are you people? And why are you in my home? Don't tell me they sent you to put explosive paper here again, he exclaimed. Oh, so that's why these walls were cracked and ruined. Damn those villagers, how awful, both of them thought. Shizen gasped at the statement, and tried to calm him down before things escalated further. Please don't get us wrong, we don't mean any harm. We'll leave right away, right, my lady? Meanwhile, Tsunade frowned at the statement once, but then observed the boy who was standing in front of her. He had blonde hair much brighter than her own. There were whisker marks on his cheeks, courtesy of the nine-tailed fox, she presumed. He was wearing a green-sleeved t-shirt which was oversized for him, on which a relatively small white t-shirt with a red swirl on front and the back. He had regular blue pants on with a pair of old shoes. Around the waist was a pack which contained various scrolls protruding out from them. Overall, he looked worn out from all that training, but the look in his eyes said otherwise. He had ocean blue eyes just like his father, but at the moment which seemed to be changing shades. Was it actually happening, or was her mind playing tricks on her? Anyways, by the look in his eyes, he looked both angry and scared. He was terrified that one of the villagers was here to hurt him yet again. Tsunade walked up to him and embraced him in a tight hug. "Don't worry, kid. We're not here to hurt you," she said. He couldn't shake off the feeling initially that something could go wrong. After all, many of the villagers played pranks and attacks on him after faking their character and befriending him, so he was wary. But then slowly his heart seemed to melt as what he felt was genuine warmth and affection. This was something he could do since he could remember, of which the reason he never knew. "Okay, I know that you're not here with any ill intentions, but I still don't understand, why are you here in the first place?" he asked innocently after leaving the embrace. "Well, actually we were looking for someone who could be our friend, and then Lord Hokage told us that you'd be willing, so he gave us the spare key," she said, smiling. He suddenly remembered that the old man was talking about some surprise and friends. Maybe this was it. He was talking about them. Suddenly his face lit up with newfound energy, and he asked them. Yes, definitely. Would you like to be my friend?" he asked. "Of course. Now let me introduce myself. My name is Tsunade. And let me introduce my companions too. This is Shizen, and this is my pet Taunton," she said. "Nice to meet you," Shizen faltered. "Naruto, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Databeo," he exclaimed. "Haha, nice to meet you, Naruto," said Shizen. "Oink oink," said Taunton. "Nice to meet you all. This is the first time I've talked to somebody except for the old man. I'm so excited. Will you stay here tonight? I have a few premium ramen cups that I saved just in case I make a friend. We will have fun," said Naruto excitedly, somehow losing all the fatigue that he got through the day. They smiled at the young boy's antics but had to refuse his offer. "We're sorry, Naruto, we can't stay. We are staying somewhere else, but we'll meet again soon. That's a promise," she said. "I thought we can have fun since we are friends now. But if you promise, then I'll hold on to it," he smiled. "As a parting gift for now, there's something I want to give you, Naruto. Here, take it," Shizen said as she handed him a scroll. When he opened it, he saw a hollow diagram at the center of the scroll. "What does it do? I can't read anything on it except for this, which I can't understand," said Naruto, pointing out. "It's a sealing scroll, Naruto. I suppose you are able to infuse chakra even though a little?" He nodded. "Good, that means now you can use that training. So all you have to do is put some chakra on the seal and you can easily store your other scrolls in here, as I see your waist pack is almost about to burst from all those scrolls," she said. He took a look at the scroll and then Shizen and then the scroll again. Suddenly he jumped on Shizen and hugged her. Thank you very much, it is awesome," he said, squashing Taunton in between. As he lost grip, he suddenly fell to the floor unconscious. "Looks like he's been training all day and must be exhausted. Let's put him to sleep and leave Shizen. I've made up my mind," Tsunade said as she healed him up a bit. They put him to bed and took a cue to leave. As they were leaving, Tsunade couldn't help but take a look at the sleeping boy. She could not forget the smile he had formed for the rest of the day she walked. Somewhere in a hotel in Konoha. "Get ready, Shizen. We'll be leaving Konoha tomorrow noon," said Tsunade. "But what about Naruto, my lady? What are you going to do about the offer Lord Hokage made to you?" a concerned Shizen asked. Tsunade looked at her with an all-knowing smile on her face. "You tell me, Shizen. Do I look like I have any doubts about this?" She spoke with a look of pure determination on her eyes. It was another fine morning in the village hidden in the leaves. People were going out for their respective workplaces, ninjas were going out on missions, and little kids were playing games in the playground. The office of the Hokage was working as usual, with the head of the office sitting behind a pile of rubbish, paperwork, when someone entered through the door. He looked up through the pile of papers to find that it was Naruto. "Good morning, Gigi," wished Naruto. "Good morning, Naruto, what brings you here so early today, my boy?" questioned the Hokage, although he had a good idea what it was about. As Naruto started talking with the Hokage, the A and BU present took their leave from the attic, as they had prior orders that any conversation regarding Naruto is to be confidential so as not to leak any sort of information by anyone in any condition. I made friends for the first time in my life, exclaimed Naruto. Knowing Tsunade, I see the meeting went even better than I expected, the Hokage thought. Oh, is that so? Might I ask who might be these friends of yours? He said. There were 3 people. Well, 2 people actually and 1 pet. And their names were Lady Tsunade, Shizen and Tantan, he said. And you know, at first I thought that it was all my imagination, but Naruto started explaining. Flashback. Naruto woke up early in the morning. He felt energized, as if his strength was restored completely, and his body was devoid of any bruises or scratches which he had suffered during the training the previous day. He wondered why. Then suddenly he remembered that some people were here yesterday. He jumped from the bed and wandered around the house in hopes of finding them, or if there was any message left for him. He couldn't find any clue showing that they were here. The place was the same gloomy dark corner it has always been. So it was just a dream after all. Silly me, to think that somebody would be my friend. He thought out loud. He went to freshen up and do his daily morning chores before heading out to train. Yash, I'm gonna show everyone that I'm worthy enough to be acknowledged. I will become Hokage someday, Databeo. He forcefully cheered up himself as he went to grab his training material. He reached for the scrolls, but to his surprise he found only one, and it wasn't one of his scrolls. It presented a peculiar design and a nicely tied butterfly-shaped thread around it. The memory of this particular scroll from last night flashed in his mind, and a really large grin spread across his face. It was true. It was all real. I wasn't dreaming. They were here last night. He jumped in happiness as he sprinted towards the Hokage Tower excitedly. Flashback over. And that's why I got here as fast as I could to tell you, finished Naruto. Haha, looks like you have had quite an eventful time, said Hokage. Yes, but now they are gone and I don't know where. I wish I could have spent some more time with them, or at least said goodbye, he said with a saddened expression. Unknown to him, they weren't alone in that room. Do you really think that a friend would do such a thing? I thought you know better than that. A new yet familiar voice came. Naruto turned around only to find that the voice belonged to none other than Tsunade. The 3 but the pet is on the lap of them were sitting on the couch beside the cupboard in the shadows. To say surprised was an understatement. He was overwhelmed with joy as well. The ones who called him his friends, the ones who he initially thought were maybe only in imagination, the ones who he thought had left him were here right in front of him now. You guys! I thought you left without meeting me. But I'm so happy that I was wrong. Naruto started wiping the tears forming in his eyes. The 2 of them could not help but smile at the boy's actions. They expected him, as the Hokage told them the first thing in the morning he was going to do was come here. A little surprise was in queue after that. So this was the surprise you were talking about, Gigi. It was one of the best I've had in my life. Thank you very much, said Naruto. Yes, but actually, the Hokage tried to say, but was instantly overshadowed by Naruto's constant load of talk that he dumped upon his friends out of overexcitement. So now what can we do today? I can show you around if you like. We can go to Ichiraka's ramen, he has the best in the entire village. If we can spare time, maybe we can do a little training too, and you can help me. I know you are ninjas since you gave me this storage scroll. As he blabbered on, he was cut off by Tsunade. She walked up to him along with Shizen. Naruto, shut up and listen to me, she ordered. He was a bit taken aback by the change of behavior but still complied. We are going to be leaving Konoha today itself, Naruto. No time to be roaming around, she said. He was disappointed at the sudden revelation and felt a lump forming in his throat. He expected them to spend a little more time with him before parting ways. It's okay, I understand. You must also have some work that you have to do. I'm happy that at least I will be able to say goodbye, he said. Before anyone could say any further, the Hokage intervened to complete his previous statement. I'm afraid that you've got it wrong, Naruto. Meeting them was not the surprise I was talking about. You can say it was a part of it but not the actual one, he said. What do you mean, old man Hokage? I can't understand any of it. He tilted his head and grazed his hair at the back of his head with a confused look. He then saw the faces of the people on the other side of the room who were also smiling, which confused him even more. What I mean is that the surprise has yet to be given to you. Just think of meeting them before now as a bonus, Hokage said. Great, if this was a bonus, the real one will be awesome, I just know it. Now come on, tell me, or I'll die of the excitement before I even hear it, said Naruto. The group chuckled at the restlessness of the boy. Ahem, I think that it's better if your friends reveal it to you themselves, he said, although he wanted to disclose it himself to see the child's soon-to-be happy face. Naruto turned towards the other members in the room with glittering eyes. You, Naruto, are invited to go on a journey with us outside the village, Tsunade told him. Silence. It was something he couldn't process that quickly and easily in his mind. Sure, he thought that the surprise would be good, hell, it would be great. But his expectations were a bit different. Maybe they'll take him to a restaurant for dinner and play with him when they come back next time. Or they'll give him another cool thing such as that storage scroll they gave him before they go. But this was beyond his farthest expectations to a great degree due to many reasons. First, he wasn't allowed anywhere outside the village due to any reason because of who he was. Moreover, they just became friends with him. Why would they want to risk themselves with him and take his responsibility? It didn't make sense at all. He just couldn't let his hopes up yet. There has to be some kind of reason that the people of this village will give to make him stay here. He tried to be optimistic, but the truth was that the fear inside him couldn't help but always think of the negative outcomes that always occurred to him. What happened, Naruto? Do you want to go with them or not? Asked the Hokage. Biba Gigi, what about the rule that I'm not allowed to go outside the village? He turned and asked with hesitation. Don't worry about it even for a second. I'm the Hokage. I make the rules and I'll make sure that nobody gets in your way of whatever you wish to do at this point. Besides, that rule was because of the need of your protection. You might not know it yet, but these people here are quite strong and are more than capable of ensuring your safety. This is your decision alone. Should you accept their offer, there is nobody that would interfere with it, he assured. He turned and looked at Tsunade in the eyes. There was no doubt or hesitation in that decision which her eyes showed. It was a solemn look with a slight smile that filled his heart with affection. He ran and jumped into her arms, clutching tightly onto her clothes, and started crying. Tsunade wasn't expecting such an emotional outbreak in the kid. She thought that he'll happily just agree to go with her. She looked down to have a clear look at him. Naruto was letting out all of his emotions in the form of tears. He never had any parents to take care of him. He had never experienced what it was like to have someone to take care of you. Sure, the Hokage was keeping an eye out for him, but there was only so much he could do for him by himself. It made this invitation far more comforting to him than it would have. Now he could have people with him. In addition to that, he won't be pestered by those villagers as long as he's away, and he was sure that nobody would care either way. They'd be glad to get rid of him. She held him close and let him cry all out until he calmed down. She guessed the reply quite well from the reaction but had to confirm. So what will it be? Do you want to come with us? She asked. He wiped out his tears and replied, There's nothing more in the world that I would want right now, with a really huge grin on his face. This is the best ever surprise you or anyone has ever gave me. Arigato, Gigi, he told the Hokage as he went to hug him lightly. You have no idea how much weight your words lift up from my heart, my child, the Hokage thought. Don't mention it, Naruto. It's the least I could do for you, he said, smiling. The group on the other side nodded their heads with a content smile. It was all good to go now. Now that it's settled, you'll be leaving at noon. So there's not much time before you have to get going. I suggest you get back at your place and pack up your stuff, Naruto. I'll make all the arrangements. You have to be here in an hour and a half. Here is your next month's allowance, if you need anything specific before your trip, he said. Before anyone could say anything, the Hokage spoke with a serious tone. All of you must know already, but this is something I have to tell you as it is my duty. The fact that you're going on a journey with Tsunade is to be kept a secret from anybody, and everybody outside this room from any of you. If anybody needs to know, it's only me who can disclose it. I hereby am announcing it to be an S-rank confidential information. Especially you, Naruto, have to remember this. He nodded his head and gulped. The Hokage was always nice to him, but if he spoke in this manner, then it must be someone very important. Very well then. You may go now, he said. Scene break time skip. Naruto went straight to home and started preparing for his upcoming journey. He was excited and nervous at the same time. But wasn't afraid. After all, he wasn't alone now, which was the greatest change. He had people he could rely upon. He started packing all the things he would need for the journey. Backpack. Check. Clothes. Check. Toothbrush. Check. Scrolls. Check. Food. Fuckaham no check. He forgot ramen. He had only a few left since he ate a lot after he trained. He just had to get more of them. He had developed a habit of it, and he just couldn't suddenly drop it. Although he'd miss Ichiraka's special, but still instant ramen would have to do. He ran out of his house at full speed. He was going to get all the ramen he could while keeping a fair amount left for later. All these times made him keep a track of his finances and not spend them unnecessarily. He also wanted to say goodbye to old man Tucci, but also remembered the promise made to Hokage not to tell anyone the details. Well, I'll figure a way out somehow, he thought. Scene break. Office of the Hokage. A conversation was going on between the teacher and student. Her assistant had gone to pack up their stuff. Although now it would seem that it was about to end. From today on, I give you the responsibility of raising this child Tsunade. I have far too many regrets that I can't redeem just yet. I feel as if I have failed the fourth until now. I'll be assigning this as an S-rank mission, and also your pay will be sent accordingly. I have a feeling that this one mission will be crucial, as it will play a huge role as to how the future of the Hidden Leaf Village will turn out to be. I leave the rest in your hands, the Hokage said. I fully understand that well, Sarutobi-sensei. I'll do the best that I can to protect and train him. I'll take my leave now with your permission. I'll see you later when we leave the village, she said. He nodded. She stood up and walked towards the door to leave, but not without saying one last thing. Also, I don't need that S-rank mission pay. For all I know, I'd gamble it away like always. It would be better if you make a separate account for Naruto and deposit them into that. After all, this mission is about him, she said. He just chuckled in confirmation. She has become too indulged in bad activities and habits such as drinking and gambling after the loss of her loved ones and leaving the village. Maybe this is a good opportunity for her too to find someone she can live her life and care for, leaving those habits behind. I hope this journey turns out for the best of everyone, he thought as she left. Scene break. Time skip. As Naruto neared the ramen stall, he saw a duo of ninjas standing there. Their attire showed that they were chunin and considerably tired from the looks. He was in the range of hearing of their conversation. Man, it sure was a long mission. I'm starving like hell. Hey, don't bring that up now. We're in front of Ichiraka's ramen. This place is a paradise for food. We're gonna eat till night. Yeah, I can't wait a second longer now, come on. As he was going to go inside the stall, his partner stopped him. Wait up, see that? He's that brat. Come on, I don't want to be anywhere near him. Let's go somewhere else. Huh. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have gone even an inch without having my food, but this surely makes an exception. Let's go. Naruto flinched at their talk and felt bad for the stall owner because he was the reason why many of his customers didn't eat at his shop. In addition to those losses, Naruto wasn't even able to pay him for his own meals sometimes, due to the fact that every other shopkeeper ripped him off a lot of money. As he entered the stall, he was greeted by the store owner, Tucci. Morning, Naruto. How've you been? Been a few days since you last had ramen. You want a bowl of Naruto's special? He asked. This man had always given him food for free when he was hungry. When he asked how should he repay him for the meal, the man always replied with the happiness on your face after eating my ramen is the best payment I can ask for. Eat as much as you want. And Naruto couldn't do anything but thank him for his kindness. After not hearing an answer, Tucci looked up at him and found him staring at him. Hey, sit down, kid. You gonna order something or stand here all day? He asked. Yeah, I was just here to buy the instant ramen cups, you know, Naruto said. Oh, no Ichiraka's ramen then. No big deal, you can come by later whenever you want, the owner said. Wait, on a second thought, I wouldn't be able to come here again for quite some time. Might as well have a bowl. Also, I would be able to talk easily if I'm not in a hurry, Naruto thought. I guess I'll have a bowl after all, said Naruto with a smile. One bowl Naruto special coming right up, announced the owner. After a few minutes, it was served and Naruto started eating slowly while the owner finished packing up his instant noodles. He put the pack beside Naruto and told him that it was all done, to which he got no reply. He watched Naruto eating slowly, which was unusual, and he also didn't talk much today. There was something on his mind and Tucci knew it. He decided to ask him. Hey kid, something on your mind? You're not your usual self today, he asked. Yeah, There was something I wanted to tell you, Aji-san. I won't be able to come here for quite some time. That's all I can tell you. I'll miss you and this ramen so much, Naruto told him. He frowned at the statement, but knew that it was something that the boy couldn't disclose. Being around ninjas so much had made him observant in a lot of ways. Just tell me this, will you be okay and are you going wherever you will by your own choice? Asked Tucci. Yeah, believe it. And I am very happy to be able to do that. You don't have to worry about me. And whatever else you want to know only Gigi can tell you, said Naruto with a huge smile. So, it's Hokage-sama who is sending him somewhere. I don't have to worry at all then, I suppose. Also, he looks quite happy and I've never seen him like that, he thought. With all the talks with Naruto, he had come to understand that Naruto affectionately called the Hokage as Gigi, as he was probably the only one who took care of Naruto and considered him as family. When Naruto finished up his bowl, he put the money on the counter for the bill when another large bowl of hot ramen appeared before him. He was confused and looked up at the stall owner. This one's on the house. I wish you a very happy journey, Naruto, said the owner with a genuine smile. Naruto thanked him rather excitedly and hugged him goodbye after finishing up the ramen. With that, he ran towards his home with the ramen cups to pack up whatever was left and leave for his upcoming journey. Scene break time skip. Naruto entered the office of the Hokage with a rather large-sized backpack behind him for his size. At first the Hokage thought of asking him but then waved it off. Alright, you've come just on time, Naruto. Ready to get going? He asked. Yeah, I sure am. But where are the others? Naruto said as he looked around the room. They have already left the village borders without you so as to not raise suspicions. I will be sending somebody to escort you secretly outside the village where you can meet them, said the Hokage as he summoned an ANBU. A man with a dog mask appeared. Ina-san, I see it's you. Will you be taking me there? Asked Naruto. He was a fairly built man with shining silver hair around the mask, wearing a sleeveless dress and an ANBU symbol on his left arm. On his back was a medium-sized sword. He had also kept watch on Naruto on a few occasions before along with the other ANBU. He ignored Naruto's question and bowed before the Hokage. Greetings, Hokage-sama. How may I be of assistance today? Asked the ANBU. Naruto frowned at the cold attitude of this ANBU. He had always been like this since Naruto met him. It looked like he was just a robot following orders around without a hint of humanity or emotion. Inu was quite the polar opposite of Nico, or so Naruto thought. A/N, yes, this pun was definitely intended. Hello Inu, I have a mission today that I can only trust you to do. That's why I had you summoned here. It is a part of a top-secret mission that is to be kept confidential. You are not to utter a single word to anyone about this task, is that clear? Said the Hokage. Crystal, replied the ANBU in a single word with a monotonous voice. Listen closely. Your mission is to escort this child here outside the village at this precise position. The crucial part is that no one should get even a hint that he is being taken outside of the village. Once you have completed the mission, you may return back to the village, explained the Hokage while handing a piece of paper which was probably a map with the location specified. Understood, was the only reply he got from him. He walked up to Naruto and grabbed him and slumped him on his shoulder. I'll take my leave. Please excuse me, he said. Hey wait. At least let me say goob. Naruto couldn't finish his plea as the ANBU shunshined away. I hope everything goes smoothly, said the Hokage out loud to no one in particular. Scene break time skip. Somewhere in a forest outside Konoha. They were finally at the specified position outside the village in a deep forest area. Upon reaching the place, the ANBU found a hollow tree trunk in which a mark was drawn identical to that on the map given to him. It was a real nuisance for him to have the kid comply with him. It was a mission which required stealth for Kami's sake, and this kid won't stop bugging him over and over about something or the other which he totally ignored. Upon confirming the destination, he dropped Naruto from his shoulders gently at the spot. He turned to go back to the village but was stopped by Naruto's voice. Wait, please. Are you going to leave me here alone? I'm scared to be all by myself like this, he said. He could have ignored him like always, but something told him that he should at least give a reply this time. My orders were to escort you here, and then leave immediately. You don't need to worry though. You just have to believe whatever Hokage-sama is planning must be in the best interest of you and the village, he said. It wasn't a very sympathetic reply, but considering who the person was, it was more than enough. Okay, I'll stay here. Arigato, Inu-san. See you later, said Naruto. With this, the ANBU ninja took his leave and returned to the Leaf Village. Time skip. It had been some time since he was left alone here in the middle of a forest. It was natural to be a little afraid in this environment, but he didn't feel any fear in contrast to what he told the ANBU. Instead, he felt more peace than he ever did. Around him were small animals searching for food, birds chirping at their nests. He felt as if he was one with nature. There were no more villagers who hated him, no more icy cold stares, no more attacks, no more pranks. He had people who cared for him and he was going to go with them on a journey. All he had to do was keep patience until somebody came to get him. He heard someone approach him. But he didn't go out to who it was. After all, if this was the place where they'd get him, then he couldn't go anywhere far from this place. As he was waiting, a brunette woman whom he couldn't identify appeared in front of the tree along with a cat beside her. He was surprised that someone else found him, as the Hokage had made a lot of measures to prevent him being detected. Oh no, I've been found. I have to run and hide somewhere nearby to avoid them until somebody comes to get me, he thought as his body tensed up. Hey Naruto, I hope you're alright. I had a hard time scouting the area for enemies before I came to get you, she said. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. He never met this lady, but somehow her voice was familiar. Oh, I forgot you can't detect transformations yet. I had to transform so that if any enemy was around he couldn't identify me. Here, I'll release it now. Kai! Was the only thing he heard before a cloud of smoke appeared and the two figures in front of him changed. They were none other than Shizen and Taunton. It's you guys! You've finally come to get me. And what was that amazing technique? I couldn't even identify you, Naruto said. She couldn't help but laugh at the excited boy's face. But this was not the time for that. Come on, Naruto. We've got to go to Lady Tsunade. They're waiting for us not far away from here, she said as she held him and shunshined away. Wait, who are they? I thought there would only be one person waitin', said Naruto as he was once again cut off from completing his sentence. As they reached the location, they saw two figures standing. There was no delay in identifying both of them for Naruto. However, one was unexpected to be there, yet Naruto was happy that he was. I see you've finally reached, Naruto, he said. Gigi. You're here? How did you reach here so fast? And why? I thought you would have stayed at the village, he asked. How I came here, you ask? I have my ways, boy. And as for why, I can't let you go without a proper goodbye, right? Said the Hokage. Naruto embraced him and thanked him for coming here. I expect you to be gone for quite some time, but don't forget to keep in touch, he said, smiling. We will. Lady Tsunade finally spoke up. As they bade their goodbyes and left, the Hokage saw Naruto's hand holding Tsunade's, which made him content. I may not have been able to save your parents or care for you, for which I truly regret. But I hope that during these travels you will experience the feeling of having a family, even if it's little. I wish you the very best, for your future as well as the future of Konoha, he thought. And me, well, I guess I'll just have to get back to paperwork, he said out loud in frustration. Scene break. Time skip. At Hokage's office. What the hell do you mean that the Nine-Tails brat has been sent out of the village somewhere? A feminine voice erupted. Yes, this is a very serious matter, Hiruzen. Call him back immediately. A similar masculine voice came. I believe that what they are saying right, Lord Hokage. This is a matter that concerns the safety of the village itself. If not anything else, tell us where is his location so that we can send additional protection if required. This voice was calmer than the other two. Shut the hell up, each and every one of you, the Hokage said with a stern, commanding voice. All of them kept quiet after sensing that killing intent radiating off the annoyed old man. He calmed down after that. First of all, I'm the Hokage and nobody, including both of you, Koharu and Hamura, can give me orders on what I should or should not do, said the Hokage, looking at the former two with a harsh voice. And as for you, Danzu, I'm well aware of the situation and I have taken steps keeping in my mind the safety of the village first and foremost. I don't need to send any reinforcements for his protection. He is quite very well protected, he said. As for his location, it is a confidential information that I refrain from disclosing to anybody. So I don't want any of you asking for it, and also forbid you to talk about this matter to anyone else outside this room, he added. Both the counselors shuddered at his tone and anger. They nodded quickly, realizing it could turn bad for them. Danzu, on the other hand, was annoyed that something this important slipped by him, and is now unable to get anything out of the Hokage either, but knew well that pushing it won't do him any good. He nodded to the Hokage reluctantly. Damn you, Hiruzen. You pulled a fast one on me. I won't forget this. I will know what you're planning sooner or later, he thought. With that, all of them left the office of the Hokage. The Hokage relaxed after being in that heated discussion for the last half an hour, which seemed like eternity. It all started after a few days of Naruto's departure when someone tipped off Danzo that the Nine-Tails kid had disappeared from the village without a trace and the Hokage was somehow involved. Upon finding out, he informed both the counselors to have them force the Hokage to give out information or pull back his plan. After a long, patient description of what should have made them understood about letting him handle things, they instead started shouting on him for acting up on his own. That was when he lost his patience and shut them up. Well, this was harder than I thought. Anyways, it's all over now. They won't disturb me again soon. I wonder what Naruto and the others would be doing, he thought as he started sorting out the paperwork again. It was another quiet day. Somewhere in a forest in the outskirts of Konoha lay a single person rested against the hollow bark of a tree from the inside. He remembered the time when he was here in this very tree quite a long time ago, when he set out for his journey. He was cherishing the peace that nature had bestowed upon the earth and all its creatures. Each creature having its own role to play in the eternal cycle of life. Plants and trees all around in the surrounding gave him a great sense of happiness and security. Why, he didn't know for sure. Maybe because he was born here. Or maybe because that he had traveled to so much places that being back made him euphoric? Or maybe because something inside him was different from the other people? No matter how long he sat there, he didn't want to leave the place, such was its calming effect. Although, his wish didn't come true as he sensed someone approach the place. His muscles tensed up a little subconsciously. It was just a reflex that occurred whenever someone unknown approached. He was taught to be cautious every time. Although this person wasn't unknown, his senses told him that the feeling it gave was familiar. He didn't have much time to guess as the figure reached the destination, which was exactly in front of the tree he was resting in. He took a good look at the person. It didn't take any time to realize now why the chakra felt familiar. The person was wearing the traditional ANBU attire with a long sword tied at the back with a face mask. The most distinguishable feature, although, was the long violet hair that flowed beside that cat-faced mask. I'm here to retrieve you and escort you to the village, she said in the usual ANBU monotone. Long time no see, Nico-chan. I missed you. But why this cold attitude? The boy asked. Why should I welcome you when you didn't even come to say goodbye? Do you know how worried I was at first until I approached Hokage-sama about your disappearance? I could only get little relief when he said that he sent you somewhere but still couldn't disclose any details, she said with a little emotion returning to her voice at the last statement. He could have almost seen her pouting if not for that mask. Hee, I'm sorry, Nico-chan. But there wasn't much time given to me before I had to leave. And with all the secrecy, I couldn't wander about to find you without arousing suspicions, he explained. Very well, I think I'll forgive you this time. But next time whenever something like this happens, you better tell me beforehand. And also, I miss you too, she said after contemplating for a second. That's more like it. I think we should get going now, or otherwise I'll get another scolding for being late. The others must have already reached before and must be waiting, he said. She smiled behind that mask at the boy because she was happy for him to be back. Of course, was the only response. With that they set out in the direction of the village. Flashback. At Hokage's office. You summoned me, Hokage-sama? Asked the ANBU. Ah, Nico-chan. Yes, I have a mission for you, he said. At your service, she said simply. You are to escort someone back to the village. It is very important, though, that you bring him here undetected. You might be interested in who you're going to be bringing back, he said as she could see a very tiny smirk forming on his face. I could have read the details in the mission folder, Hokage-sama, but if you are specifically bringing it up, then he must be very important, she said with a slight confusion. Maybe this will help a bit, he said as he took out a photo of the person and showed it to her. She couldn't help but gasp at the realization. He was being brought back to Konoha. After all this time. She had lots of questions regarding him but couldn't just jump at the Hokage with them. It was in the code of the shinobi not to question the motives or reasons regarding any mission. If anything, it applied even more to the ANBU Black Ops. He was the Hokage for Kami's sake, after all. Whatever he did was considered in the best interests of the village without any question. The Hokage observed her hesitation and smiled to make her more comfortable, and gestured her to sit down. He went on to explain briefly how he had been sent on a journey to see the world. When asked who was with him, as if on cue, the Sannin along with her assistant entered the room. She was satisfied and happy that she'll get to see the boy again. Although, she did want to give him a good earful when she met him. Flashback ends. Finally, it feels so good to be back, he thought as they were on the way towards his home. Yup, it had been 3 years since he left the village to set out on a journey, and now he was back. Naruto Uzumaki had returned to Kanehigakure no Sado. Time skip. At Hokage's office. TCK TCK TCK. The clock ticked away loudly, showing how silent the room was. The ANBU guards had already been sent away. The persons who were seated there had already exchanged greetings and were currently waiting for someone to arrive. Some were waiting calmly while someone was getting impatient. Damn, where is that brat? He should have been here by now, she said. Please calm down, my lady. He must be reaching any time now, said Shizen. She's right, Bachan. You don't have to wait anymore. A new voice emerged. All of them looked towards the window behind and to the left of Hokage. As expected, Naruto was crouching on the window pane with a hand above his head as a friendly greeting gesture. Over the years in their travels, Naruto had become close to both of the women, and the pet of course, so he affectionately called them as Bachan and Neichan. Ohayo gozaimasu, Gigi. I missed you so much, said Naruto. Ohayo, it's great to see you too, Naruto. It didn't seem as lively here without you, my boy. The Hokage chuckled. He jumped inside, followed by the cat-masked Anbu. Mission accomplished, Hokage-sama. No complications along the way. May I take leave now? She asked. Good work as always, Nico. And yes, you may leave. I'll sign the mission report later, he said. She bowed her head and disappeared using the body flicker technique. Turning to Naruto, the Hokage took a closer look at him now that he was standing in front of him. He was no longer the little boy like the Hokage remembered him. His attire and personality had changed considerably. He wore an orange jacket over a white t-shirt with black jeans and sandals. On his waist was a pouch which contained all the ninja gear. A medium-sized bag hung on his back, strapped on his shoulders. His posture was upright, and with a gleam on his face which reflected confidence. The only things which remained the same to his pleasure were his blonde hair, blue eyes, whiskers on his cheek, and especially the trademark grin on his face. How has your journey been? I know you've been sending me letters time to time, but still I'd like to hear it face to face. Life has been quite normal here in the village, so an old man like me doesn't have much interesting to hear nowadays, asked the Hokage. It was awesome, Gigi. I can't tell you how much fun I had all this time. And just you wait until I show you how strong I've become, said Naruto. Yeah right, don't be so cocky, you brat. You've still got long ways to go. I could still flick you with a finger if I wanted to, smirked Tsunade. Naruto formed a pout at how she shattered all his boasting in one blow. The Hokage chuckled at the light-hearted antics. My, it sure has been a long time, thought the Hokage. Of course, Naruto. I myself am quite curious as to how strong you've got since the last time, he said. Yeah, and there's also something else that you don't know about yet. We'll keep it a surprise then. Tsunade smirked. The Hokage was curious, but he knew Tsunade far too well to know that there was no way he'll get anything out of her. He decided to drop the topic and leave it for later. Why don't we have a test to assess the extent of your skills, Naruto? He asked instead. That would be a great exercise for him, sensei. I would also like to watch an interesting match before we hit the road again. Who will you be pairing him up with? Tsunade asked. You seem to have the wrong idea, Tsunade. I'm not pairing him up with someone to gauge his skills. I want him face to face and look how much progress he's made by exchanging blows in combat. Yes, you're thinking right, I will be his opponent, said the Hokage. Tsunade had a surprised look on her face while Shizen's jaw dropped at the statement. You must be joking, right, Hokage-sama? There's no way someone like you would actually fight this little kid, right? Shizen asked out of concern. Sure, Naruto was strong and could hold his own against a regular opponent, but this was the Hokage. The strongest person in the Leaf Village, no, the Land of Fire. He could squash him like a bug without a sweat if he wanted to, not that he would actually do something like that, but still. I understand your concern. Don't worry, I merely want to assess him and maybe loosen some rusty joints, he said while laughing. Yeah, I get to fight the Hokage himself. This will be a golden opportunity if I want to prove that I can be Hokage too, Databao. Naruto exclaimed. Now that all is settled, I would like to give you a welcome back present, the Hokage said. Whoa, a welcome present? You mean a gift? What is it? Please tell me, hurry up, he said excitedly. The Hokage chuckled internally. No matter how mature he has become, he was a child after all. These little happy moments and excitement made the boy jump up and down, which he truly liked and hoped that Naruto never loses it. Hold out your hand, Naruto, he ordered. Naruto happily complied. The Hokage took out a scroll and opened it. A seal was made on it beforehand. He took Naruto's hand and pressed it upon the seal. To the boy's astonishment, the seal transferred onto his palm. He was a little surprised but kept calm. The seal vanished after a few seconds as if it never existed. Here, all done. Now you can step back, the Hokage said. But what is this seal? And why is it on my palm? Why did it disappear? He asked when a lot of questions raised in his mind as he stepped back. This is the key to your new home. You won't be living at your old place anymore, the Hokage said, smiling. What? But what about my old house? And my stuff that I left? He asked, concerned. That place also belongs to you. And all your stuff is safe in the storeroom of your new home. I had it moved since many people tried to pry around in your old home, he explained. Really? I'm getting a new home? Exclaimed Naruto after the initial concern about his stuff was now relieved. Yes, here is the location. It is a 2-story apartment, and yours is the upper flat. The owner of the lower one is mostly out of the village for business purposes. So neighbors won't be a problem. But even then, I suggest that you disguise yourself or keep yourself hidden from the general public as possible when you go there. There's no telling what some hooligans might do if they know you live there, explained the Hokage while handing him a paper. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I get to live in a brand new home. And sure, I'll remember all the advice and follow them properly, he said. But wait a minute, you said that this is a key. But how is it possible? I thought it was a seal of some kind, Naruto added. This is a special kind of seal, a type of key. The lock is a chakra seal on the entrances. It is a basic chakra seal lock but should keep away any prying civilians from entering your home, said the Hokage. Naruto was gaping with awe at him. He never thought when he reached home he would get such a gift. Arigato gozaimasu, Gigi, he said as he hugged him lightly. I'm glad that you like it. But it can wait until you actually see it, Hokage said. However it may be, it will be good for me if you have chosen it. Also, it cannot be worse than the last one no matter how you look at it. Naruto grinned. The Hokage and the other chuckled heartily at the silver-tongued devil. Now please excuse me, I have to go unpack and arrange my stuff. I have to prepare for the match tomorrow. What time should I be there? Naruto asked. I guess 7 in the morning would be a good time. I have to be at the office afterwards for some paperwork, the Hokage told him and dropped his head out of exasperation. Understood. I'll be on time, Naruto said as he approached the window to leave. I forgot to tell you, but there's one thing in this village I missed even more than you, Gigi, Naruto added as he jumped on the window pane. Huh, what is it? The Hokage asked curiously. They could see the outline of his smirk as he was facing towards outside the window ready to leave. The one and only, Ichiraku's ramen, said Naruto as he took off. Only laughter could be heard in the office afterwards. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was going through the streets of Konoha disguised as another person. He decided against directly going to the ramen shop as he had the luggage on him. First he would drop the stuff at his home, brand new home, and then head there. He arrived at the location. It wasn't very far from the center of the village like his last one, but not very close to it too, which was good, since it would be more peaceful. It was exactly like the Hokage had described. 2 floors in the small apartment with a stairway at the left side around the back corner. The front door of the ground floor was locked, as expected. Good, no annoying neighbors, he could even train without getting complaints from under the floor. He reached the stairway and entered the building after carefully looking around for anyone watching him. After reaching the top, he found only one door which had a basic design and pure white color. Good, the last thing he wanted was flashy appearances around to get unwanted attraction. The only peculiar thing was a rectangular metal plate above the handle instead of the lock that lied below it. He figured that it would be the chakra lock that the Hokage had told him about. He pressed his palm upon the metal plate and felt a little tinge in his palm. The seal glowed for a second and then the door unlocked. He wondered at how the mechanism worked but dropped the thought away for the time being. He opened the door to enter the house, no, his new home. He was quite impressed at the first glance of the interior. It was nothing like the old shabby dump where he used to live. On the contrary, it gave a bright feeling to the heart. The design was plain and simple on the inside as it was on the outside, nothing fancy, not that he needed it. At the doorstep, a shoe rack laid on the corner. He removed his sandals and proceeded to explore the house further. On his front was a wall which led the only walkway to the right side into the center of the house. Before the turn, he spotted 2 doors on the sides of corner, left, and front. He peeked through the door on the left to find one small storeroom which was half occupied with his old stuff. He moved on to the next door through which he found a medium-sized empty room with 2 windows and a gate which led to a small washroom. Well, I can probably put some chairs around here to make it a guest room or something. I'll figure out later, he thought. He closed both the doors and turned into the narrow walkway. Well, this is good. This way nobody can see my home directly through the front door even if I made a mess, he said to no one. He reached the end after a few steps and found a large hall on the right compared to the rooms before. Otherwise it wasn't anything huge. Still, way better than his old home. A square wooden table with chairs was present in the middle, good enough for 4 people. On the immediate left at the end of walkway, a door was present which led to a comfortably spacious lead bath with a small skylight which could be covered. Moving ahead, a shelf was present in the wall which separated the next room from the bathroom. The corner room was a kitchen and was until now the most additive improvement from his old home yet. It was floored with tiles and the counter slab was made of marble with a regular sink at a corner. The design was a little better than plain simple, but he liked it. I guess with this much space it'd be a pity if I only ate ramen, he thought and grinned. Along his journey, Tsunade had been very strict with him regarding his food habits, as his tongue had taken a deep liking to the taste of ramen, and wasn't fond of other foods either. He remembered the time when he first had to part with his longtime companion instant ramen not much later after his journey had begun. Flashback. The trio, yes, I'm not going to specify the pet every time, had set up camp for the night somewhere in a clearing in the forest. They had lit a fire and the dinner was almost ready. Naruto began to rummage around his baggage and pulled out instant ramen cups. Shizen giggled at the boy's attachment to the savory. Tsunade, on the other hand, was a little uncomfortable that he had brought so much of the stuff but decided to let it go for now. We just left the village. Maybe he'll get over it soon. It's not like someone can live on ramen alone, right? She thought. Time skip, a few days later. The group was walking in a town looking for a decent restaurant which had quality food but not unnecessary ambience and stuff, as they were costly. A ninja must utilize his resources in hand to the fullest no matter what the situation may be, was a rule that nobody had officially quoted but was originated from common sense, duh. After a long search, they found one good enough. They were about to enter but Naruto had other plans. I'm going to head for the ramen shop there. After finishing I'll meet you up at the restaurant. I'll be back soon, he said as he ran off to a shop which was on the opposite side of the lane a few shops ahead. It won't be as good as Ichiraku's, but better than nothing. Here I come, he thought. Tsunade was annoyed at the gesture, and a ticked mark appeared on her forehead anime style. He was about to go and give him a piece of her mind, but Shizen managed to calm her down somehow. Although this was the last time he walked off this easy, as in the next incident what happened changed his perspective of the nice old lady forever. Time skip. Before leaving the town they had to stock up on their supplies. Shizen left Tsunade at the hotel as Naruto insisted on going shopping with her. Seeing no harm, they let him go with her. An hour later, the duo returned, but what Tsunade saw shocked her completely. Shizen carried a bag of groceries with Tantan, but Naruto had a sack of it, double his own size. And further to her shock, it was filled with instant ramen cups all over. Angry, no. She was more like enraged. What is this, Shizen? Care to explain? She asked. Sorry, my lady, but he insisted that he loved ramen and that he wouldn't get any during his travels, so we buy many at once. I tried to reason, but he's stubborn, she said. Take this and return it right now, go, she ordered. Wait a minute, this ramen, Naruto interjected. Tsunade flinged her hand at him and grabbed him by the collar. Listen here, you brat. I've been tolerating this since many days, but this is the limit, she shouted, full of fury. Both Naruto and Shizen froze at their places. Tsunade noticed that. What the hell are you waiting around for? Didn't I tell you to do something? She said. Shizen nodded quickly and rushed off, picking up the sack as fast as she could. No, wait. My ramen, Naruto started once again. She lifted him up in the same position and pressed him against the wall. A/N, you still don't have enough hate, Sasuke. Style, just a little less violent, lol. Listen here and keep your mouth shut. You can't live off ramen alone. You are a growing child and your body needs proper nutrition. If you want to gain strength, you will have to eat properly. This way you won't be able to build up normal strength, let alone be stronger. I don't know how you have managed to stay on that for it be such an obsession, but now I won't allow it. Until you are under my care, you will have to listen to each and everything I say regardless of whatever the heck it is. You may eat the ramen occasionally, but you will eat a proper nutritional diet from now on like everybody else. Now, is that clear? She asked with an angry frown. Naruto had never faced such a situation in his life before. The Hokage was always nice to him. The villagers were a different story, they wanted him to suffer so they humiliated him. But this, she was the most intimidating person he had ever encountered, and on top of it he had no proper rationale to retaliate since she was actually right and being concerned of him. Why yes, sure, he said in a low timid voice. What? I didn't hear you. This is what happens when you don't have enough strength by stuffing same ramen day and night. I'll ask again, is that clear to you? She asked. He was terrified but gathered up enough courage and strength to utter one word that he remembered a certain silver-haired ANBU would say to the Hokage whenever he was asked the same question. Crystal, he replied. She released the grip and he fell on the floor on his butt with his back along the wall. It hurt, but he didn't have enough courage left to say anything. Good boy. I knew you were a smart one. Now why don't you help me arrange these groceries we have here? She said in a happy tone with a smile which was completely a 180 from the expression a moment ago. He gulped and nodded, refraining from saying literally anything that would piss off this woman again. Ever. Flashback over. He shuddered at the memory and pushed it aside as he went out of the kitchen back into the hall. The only room left was on the other side of the hall. He crossed the hall only to stop midway as he noticed a framed picture hanging on the wall on the right. He was totally surprised and yet pleased at the same time. It was a picture of the three of them, for since it's a photo, Taunton is also included, a few months after he left the village. A newbie aspiring photographer had pestered them quite a bit before they decided to go for it. He was new, yet he was no novice. He captured the perfect photo they could have asked for. The angle, the lighting, the effects were finely detailed, undeniably a work of expertise. The background was a beautiful and serene waterfall along which water flowed smoothly. Greenery had surrounded the fertile land around the waterfall. Sunshine illuminated the area brightly, creating a feeling of warmth. Amongst all this, Tsunade was sitting on a medium-sized rock with Shizen standing beside her holding Taunton. Our protagonist Naruto was sitting in the lap of the Sannin with a cheerful grin on his face. It was definitely the old man. He must have seen the photo from Bachan and framed it to be put here, he thought. Thank you very much. It is a wonderful gift. He said to no one but made a mental note to personally thank the Hokage. On the other side of the wall there were two sets of windows, and on the corner lied a stool on which a small TV screen on which any important broadcast could be watched. Additionally, he could also play videos by using VHS. This was installed not to entertain Naruto, but keeping in mind that he would have to rewatch certain moves or techniques from time to time to imprint them in his memory. It could be also used to analyze a person's moves in detail if a battle is recorded. Although it is a well-known fact a shinobi should be perceptive enough to analyze and counter an enemy's moves even in the midst of a battle, Naruto was still only a child. It would be helpful if he didn't have to rely only on his teachers and have an opportunity to improve his skills by his own if he chooses to. Or so the Hokage thought. Finally, he entered the bedroom. The door was located on the right corner. He was eager to see this room because it would be the one he'd be spending most of his time in. And he wasn't disappointed, to say the least. The room was almost half as much bigger than a regular bedroom. Considering how his previous bedroom was smaller than a regular one, this looked like double the size. It had a large bed near the room entrance on the left side in the middle. In front of the bed was a balcony which extended from a little more than half the width of the room up to the corner. At the left corner at the side of bed, a wooden study table and chair were present. On the table, a lamp was kept to be used for nighttime study. On the right side were two almirah in the wall which were present for wardrobe purposes. There was no problem in the daytime since 3 windows extended on the wall letting in sunlight in the room. The best part was that the room was very well ventilated with air and sunlight due to the balcony and windows. And believe it or not, Naruto liked it very much. A/N, Imagine Sasuke's room from canon. This room is based upon that with minor modifications. He entered the balcony, closing the glass doors behind him. A/N. Sorry about doing this again, but please don't give me crap about how a ninja shouldn't have glass doors in his home. I'll do something about that too, although. He was cautious to not let anyone see him now that he was out in the open, so he kept a disguise. The view was quite good. Unlike his old home, which was situated in the outskirts and didn't have much development, this area was quite better with developed homes and streets. The civilians were also more civilized looking, unlike some crazy ruffians, but being careful didn't hurt. He thought that the home tour was enough for the time being and should head out now. So he turned back to open the glass doors, but to his surprise they were locked, and he couldn't open them. He tried the same with the windows out of hurry, but they were locked too. After a few unsuccessful attempts, he decided to break the glass and have it repaired afterwards. This wasn't the ideal method, but there was no other option. He punched the glass, hoping to crack it enough to let him inside. Instead, he was shocked to have his fist hit something like a solid wall. He tried again, only to find his attempts futile. Before he could use any other means using force, he saw a metal plate which resembled the same one at the door. He pressed his palm upon the plate, and surprisingly the door unlocked. He thought about it, and remembered that the same design was employed upon the windows as well. Then he realized what was actually the situation. The seal was not designed to just reinforce the door like a lock. It was actually set up at multiple entry points in his house and were connected to each other, forming a protective barrier around. Unless one has the key or has a way to destroy one of the seals, it is not possible to enter the house. It wasn't any big of a deal for a trained ninja, but it sure was a nightmare for any prying civilians. The Hokage had made sure before Naruto's arrival that he should not encounter any problems with dumbass civilians while in the village. Having a basic security seal installed on a house was no big deal for the Hokage to do. He also had made basic arrangements like the bed and table chairs for him. Rest of the requirements or modifications he left for Naruto to handle. After all, it was his home. It is only fitting that he plans it according to his own comfort. Naruto quickly dropped the bag inside the almirah and headed out of his home happy and content. The Hokage had made all arrangements for him so that he doesn't encounter any day-to-day difficulties. Now it was his turn to be responsible and use this opportunity to work hard and improve himself in all aspects. But for now, something else was occupying his mind more than anything. With a gleam in his eyes, he dashed off to the one place he loved the most in the entire world. The one and only Ichiraku's ramen. Scene break and time skip. He set out towards the shop in disguise initially, but decided to revert back to normal once he was far enough from his home. He would have to be Naruto when he meets the ramen shop owner, and after all, the fact that he's back would be revealed to the people, one way or the other. Once he was near the ramen stand, he looked for any signs of people around. He noticed the same two guys standing there as the last time he was here. He decided to wait out until they leave, because no matter how excited he was, he didn't want the shop to incur losses on account of him. He walked an alleyway beside the shop to wait in the shadows so no one can spot him or disturb him. He rested his head against the wall and closed his eyes, leaning him against it, folding his hands. He was alert for some time, but as the two men at the stall already left, he was found to be dozing off. The weariness of the journey made him relaxed. Until someone woke him up. "Excuse me, mister? Do you want something from our shop? You'll have to order at the counter first," the voice said. Naruto suddenly jumped at the voice and looked for the source. It was a young girl not very older than himself. She was wearing an attire similar to that of the ramen stall owner. A white robe with folded sleeves and a bandana on the head with brown hair and deep black eyes. Yeah. But I'm afraid you're wrong. I'm about to go to Ichiraku's ramen, not your shop. And sorry to bother you, I'll come by to your shop some other time maybe. This time I just have to eat here." He chuckled uncomfortably. The girl giggled unexpectedly loudly, as to which Naruto asked why she did. "Silly fellow, I am talking about Ichiraku's ramen. There aren't many shops around the area, don't you know?" she said. Come to think of it, she was right. He didn't think about the fact since he was getting more attention on not getting suspicious. But again, how could she be from Ichiraku's? Last he remembered the owner was Tucci. Wait, don't tell me he sold the shop. No, I waited for so long to get a taste of his ramen. He mentally went crazy. Before he could say anything, the girl said, "I'm going from the back. Please go to the counter and place an order. We'll be serving you shortly," as she strolled away with some groceries in her hands. With no other option, he walked to the ramen stand and entered inside. "Welcome, dear customer, pleased to serve you. What would you like to have today?" asked the owner as he was cleaning up the last preparations with his back at Naruto. Naruto was relieved to find that the voice sounded exactly like Tucci. Man, he was so terrified even at the thought that the shop was sold. But then who was that girl? Never mind, who cares as long as the old man's here? Ahem, I need my special bowl, sir. Naruto asked, deepening his voice a little. Sorry, but we don't customize the orders, sir. Please have a look at the menu chart at the side and choose any of the varieties. The owner said, still doing his work. Naruto was having a fun time but decided to get attention now. I'm quite sure I do have a special bowl here, mister. And I won't go until I've had enough of it, he said. Look, sir, I told you we don't take customize, Tucci said with annoyance, but it converted to surprise the moment he turned to look at his customer. Naruto, is it really you? He asked. In flesh and bones, Aji-san. Naruto grinned. Ha ha ha, it has been such a long time, my boy. You don't know how much I miss my favorite customer, he said. Not as much as I miss you and the ramen, Naruto replied. Haha, Naruto special, coming right up, he said. He went on to talk about Naruto's journey while preparing him a Naruto special bowl of ramen. When it was finished, Naruto was surprised to have a bowl 3 times as large compared to th extra large one. It was actually a decorative piece I had bought for the store. But seeing you this hungry, I decided to serve you in this one. Dig in, this one's on the house, he said with his trademark smile. Whoa, thanks Aji-san. Itadakimasu, said Naruto as he started gulping down ramen at an inhuman speed. The girl entered the room while saying, I have arranged the materials in the store properly. Do you need me to do anything else too, san? She said. Naruto choked on his ramen after hearing that she was actually his daughter. Good work, girl. I want to introduce someone to you here. He is our shop's favorite and eternal customer. No man or woman on this planet is able to eat as much ramen as this guy here. Meet Naruto Uzumaki, he said. Naruto just held his hand up to wave it uncomfortably. Wait, this guy? I just met him in the alley beside our shop. He didn't even know I work here. And I've never seen him since the last 2 years I've started working, the girl said. Tochi was initially confused but quickly understood why Naruto didn't come here right away. He smiled at the concern he showed for his shop. Yes, actually he wasn't around for the last 3 years. But now that he's here, he'll be needing all the ramen he can get. And I don't think we can satisfy his appetite even with the ingredients you just bought, Tochi said jokingly. This is my daughter Ayam. She's been working with me at the shop since the last 2 years. It seems she has developed a liking to culinary arts because of my work. She helps me around here and there while studying more on the subject in the free time, he said to Naruto. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san, she said as she extended her hand. Likewise, Ayam-san. He extended his hand in reciprocation. He wasn't aware of her nature but decided that she was a good person. She was Tuchi's daughter after all. With that, she started helping Tuchi in making ramen for him. Naruto, who had already finished his bowl, started watching her dreamily. I wish I would have a wife like her who can make ramen for me every day for my whole life, he thought. There were no feelings directed at the girl but instead at the ramen that he loved so much. Understandable, he was still a kid after all. He talked about his experiences throughout his journey with them while stuffing himself up with ramen. Respecting the privacy of the talks, the owner had closed the shutters for the rest of the day for other public. Finally, it was late afternoon, and he had to head back home. He bade goodbye to both of them and thanked them for the ramen after paying the bill. Scene break and time skip. Naruto had reached his home after buying some essentials and groceries from the market while in disguise. He felt a little alone at home after staying with the other 2 women for such a long time but shrugged the feeling off. The emptiness of the new home which the Hokage had left for him to fill also didn't help much in the matter. But this was not the time for it. He was to perform tomorrow in front of the Hokage himself, and his own travel companions and mentors. I should be preparing right now. The Hokage is no ordinary opponent. I wonder if I'll even be able to scratch him. I should ready up all my gear and equipments and probably have some last-minute training, he thought. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was sitting atop the Hokage rock watching the sunset. The village looked beautiful from up there. The stone Hokage faces were a symbol of the village's power and leadership, and he wanted to become someone like them one day. Specifically, like the 4th Hokage on whose Hokage monument he was resting upon. He had learned quite a lot about all the Hokage during his journey from the Sannin, and the fourth Hokage was the one who impressed him the most. Reason, he didn't just know why. Maybe it was because he single-handedly turned a war in his favor, or maybe because he took up the title at such a young age. He was also feeling a little emotional while watching the pleasing sight of the sun turning crimson from bright yellow forming a bright orange glow at the center. A/N, the colors ring a bell? Mom, Dad, I never knew who you were. But I hope you're watching me from up there and will keep doing so forever. I will achieve my dream of becoming Hokage and be respected by everyone. I wish I could have just got to know even if a little bit. Don't worry although, I'll never let little things like this get in my way. I will make you proud, and that's a promise, he thought as tears flowed down his face. Naruto had been training since he left the house and reached the grounds until sunset. Guessing that he had enough, he decided to watch the sunset before heading home. But now, he felt it troublesome to move and go home. Gathering up whatever strength he had, he stood up, wiped his tears and headed out to his home. Tomorrow was a big day, he got the chance to show his skills, and he sure wasn't gonna waste it. A lone figure could be seen in the fields of Hokage training grounds. In a clearing, he was sitting quietly on a rock and appeared to be meditating. Such was his aura that birds and animals from around had started rounding up around him. There was nothing but tranquility in the atmosphere along with the cold waning off due to the rising sun that marked the beginning of the day. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. Naruto had developed a strict timetable during those years, courtesy of Tsunade. His body had adapted to it, and formed his own body clock. He found it very troublesome at first as he had the habit of training and lazing off whenever he was home, but eventually he got used to it, and now finds it useful in maintaining a balanced and healthy lifestyle. He had woken up at 5 o'clock sharp, although he did place an alarm just in case. After going through his daily routine, he readied himself up mentally and physically, after which he set off to the Hokage training grounds. These were private training grounds reserved for the Hokage alone, and no one else was allowed within, whosoever he or she might be. It was supposed to be surrounded by a barrier which was inaccessible for regular shinobi and invisible, and also blocked any vision from outside. He had been given entry access to the area for this day prior to the match so that he could scout the area and familiarize himself to the surroundings should he choose to. You know what they say, never miss any opportunity. He had put off his jacket on the sidelines and put on a dark-colored t-shirt for today. It would not only be helpful in blending with the surroundings should they enter the forest, but also would be easy to wash, if it would be left wearable by the end of the match, that is. He had already double-checked and packed all the equipment he would need last night. He was pretty sure that he won't be able to defeat the Hokage even if hell broke loose, but he'd be damned if he didn't give his best. Time passed by quickly while he was meditating, and it wasn't long before the clock hit 10 to 7 when he sensed people coming towards him. He opened his eyes to find none other than the three who were supposed to be. "Ohayou gozaimasu, Gigi. I've been waiting for you," Naruto said. "Ohayou Naruto. I didn't expect you to come this early. The time decided between us was 7 o'clock, wasn't it?" the Hokage said, although he half expected what Naruto's reply would be. "Yes, but I managed to check the area before the match to expect what I'm getting into. And I must say, your training grounds are very clean and well maintained compared to the ones for the public. You can literally see garbage dumps forming there in various places if you look carefully," he said. "Being a Hokage has its perks," he said with a slight smile but changed his face to neutral, "but it is also a bad sign that those open for the public are not being taken care of properly. I will do something about it. But that's for later, we have something else to do right now." Naruto understood the hint and grinned. He backed away to his original position a little away from the rock. It was a nice place to sit, didn't want to destroy it. He looked around to see that the other two females had already taken seats at the branch of a nearby tree. Watching him look at them, they simply waved at him, following with a thumbs up for good luck. He needed it, badly, for nothing but luck could save him from his opponent should he get even a little bit serious. The Hokage was still wearing his white robes, which confused Naruto a little. Why does he still have those clothes on? Doesn't he need them in his office? They'd be dirty by the end of this fight unless, damn it. He thinks that I won't even be able to touch him. You sure are getting cocky, Gigi. I have to get that thought out of him one way or the other. I may not be around his level, but still I'm no pushover, he thought. The Hokage was observant of his expression. "Come on, Naruto. You have been training for quite some time now. Show me what you've got, how much skilled you've become," Hokage thought. "Ready for it, Naruto?" the Hokage asked. "I couldn't be more ready ever than now," Naruto said. "It's time. When this pebble hits the ground, the match will begin," he said as he flinged a pebble vertically high up in the air. The match wasn't official or anything, so they didn't need a referee. The rules are, there are no rules. A one-on-one match, anything and everything that you can put to use is allowed. I wish you good luck, said the Hokage. Naruto observed that the Hokage had at least got rid of the tobacco pipe that he always kept stuck in his mouth. He wasn't just considering it a leisurely stroll, after all. You better watch out, Gigi. You just might get surprised today, he said as the pebble hit the ground. He immediately smashed a few smoke bombs around the area which covered both of them. You blocked the advantage of sight, huh? But what will you do now? Surely not flee this early. There must be some other plan he's got, thought the Hokage. The Hokage first thought to leave the smoke by jumping away. But that would defeat the purpose. He just remained there in the smoke to humor him whatever the boy was about to do. Suddenly a fist made its way to his face. He effortlessly dodged it but was surprised as to how he was found so quickly. Surely Naruto couldn't just remember where was standing and attack blindly at that location, since he had already moved inside the smoke. Naruto smirked, starting a bout of punches and kicks on the man trying to land a hit. He did surprise him, although the man was able to keep up with the boy quite easily. The Hokage ducked under a kick, grabbing a hold of his other leg and spun him around, throwing the boy away. Thinking that he got Naruto out of balance, he thought of going on the offense this time. Man, he was going to find that it won't be that easy. He tried to move from the spot again only to find a paper bomb in front of his leg this time. He jumped behind instantly only to find another paper bomb about to detonate. Looking around, he saw a circle of paper bombs at the position he was initially standing as center of the circle. Damn it, how did the kid get around me this quickly? I didn't sense him at all. Am I getting that old, or is there something I'm missing? He thought as the paper bombs were at the brink of explosion. The spectators saw an explosion with which all the smoke screen was dispersed, instantly replaced by the smoke of the explosion. Naruto had got his footing back and smirked as he saw the explosion. I know this was a surprise even for you. So you now at least have to remove those Hokage robes. Must be dirtier than the spectators' footwear by now, he shouted. However, his hopes weren't high for too long as he saw a protective earth barrier around him. As the barrier receded back into the ground, the Hokage retorted back. Earth-style, rock shelter. Normally he didn't announce the name every time he used a jutsu, but this could also be a training round for Naruto, so he decided to tell him. He added, it's not that easy to land a hit on me. You would have to do far better than that. But you have a point. I won't be able to get to my office in clean robes if it goes on like this. You are full of surprises after all. Trust me, this isn't the only surprise you will get today. Naruto smirked. Hee, so care to tell me how we're able to find me so efficiently? And I couldn't sense your presence at all, the Hokage asked as he took off the robes aside to reveal his usual black battle armor. This was a test to just show his skills in battle, so there was no need to keep anything secret anyways. He decided to explain. Well, you see, I am a sensory type. He conveyed the concept in a brief manner. What? Interesting, but even more of an interesting fact is that I kept my chakra signature to the minimum just in case. Not to mention that I can detect at least the presence of sensory types no matter how small or how well they hide it, Hiruzen said. Both of them had got closer to the spectators during the fight. Tsunade intervened before Naruto could say further. You see, Sarutobi-sensei, this is his specialty. He is one of the best sensors out there. It goes without saying that he can keep his chakra well hidden. Even the tiniest amount of chakra can be detected by him. If that was not enough, there is a special technique that he created, from which hiding is virtually impossible, unless of course you're dead, she said. Yes, and on top of that, I can sense other people's emotions when my own are elevated. I'm not able to control it by will, at least not until yet, Naruto added. We suspect that it might be an effect of the QB sealed within him, as I don't know of any person who possesses the same abilities. Although there was one who could, Mito Uzumaki, my grandmother, she said. All in due time. We just have to have patience and keep honing our skills. Well, I was actually curious about the technique you mentioned. I would like to test it out. An old man like me doesn't get the opportunity to see these kinds of new things lately. Your objective is to find me in 2 minutes. I'll be waiting, the Hokage said as he shunshined away. 2 minutes. More like 10 seconds, Naruto said as he prepared his technique. He was standing straight with eyes closed and concentrating his chakra around his feet and torso. A wave of chakra was released simultaneously into the ground as well as the atmosphere. The Hokage was well hidden between the branches and leaves of a tree, and kept his chakra as close to zero as he could. He had a clear view of what Naruto was doing. He could see that Naruto was concentrating his chakra around his body for some reason but couldn't understand why. Suddenly, he felt a slight disturbance in his chakra, but it vanished as soon as it appeared. Did he do something? A genjutsu? No, I can't feel anything like that. But what was that just now? He thought. Naruto, on the other hand, had an all-knowing smirk with an expression that could have been heard shouting "Found you!" Before Hiruzen could contemplate and analyze the technique further, he heard Naruto at full volume. Chakra resonance, heightened perception. And Naruto threw a kunai at him with good precision, which had an explosive tag tied to it. He was forced to jump out in the open again face to face with the boy. Naruto was proudly grinning upon completing the task he was given. You managed to do it. I wasn't expecting to be found this easily. Surely this is some good technique you've got there. Care to enlighten me? Hiruzen asked with a smile. Yes, sure. It has started with concentration of chakra at the sole of my feet and around my body. But I figure you sense that much. Naruto said, to which Hiruzen nodded. After that I released that chakra wave into the ground and around the surroundings simultaneously. Although it requires more chakra above in the air than in the ground, since the waves travel faster in the ground requiring less intensity. It is basically the same concept of sound traveling at different speed in different media. So leaving that aside, all I have to do is sense that chakra disturbance in the wave I released whenever it collides or reacts with any other chakra. The advantage is that I don't have to perceive someone else's chakra but only sense distortion in my own, which is comparably quite easy. It gives me an incredibly high perception, since I'm a sensory ninja. It can be understood through the same principle that bats use, that is, ultrasound. It reverberates whenever it strikes an object and the bat can sense the hurdle, or the prey. He explained. Hiruzen was in awe. He never thought that a mere child could devise such a handy technique which could turn the tide in a battle. Hell, a sneak attack would be completely foiled against anyone who wields this. Ingenious, indeed. If this boy is so smart at such a young age, he might be a great asset to Konoha in the future. He certainly took after you in terms of brains, Lord Fourth, he thought, but still managed to keep the surprise hidden. That is quite a technique, my boy. And the way you explained it shows that you have studied a lot of things other than only ninja arts as well, Hiruzen said with a smile. Yes, what can I say? I like to read. It allows us to gain knowledge and experience we can never attain in our whole life with practical experience alone. And to be honest, I kinda got the idea of this jutsu from the ultrasound phenomenon used by the bats. So it's not that original. But I thought I could incorporate it into my style, since I'm a sensor and all, Naruto said. That is good and all, but we're getting bored here. We don't have all day. Get the action back in the game, Tsunade shouted. Well, she's right. Enough talking, let's get back to where we were, Hokage said. You bet I will, Naruto said as he readied up two kunai in his hands. He dashed up to the Hokage and started attacking him repeatedly. The Hokage didn't even have to break a sweat in effortlessly dodging the attacks. Sure, he may have talent, but it's a long way of hardship to transform that into skill. He dodged a straight jab by stepping sideways and grabbed Naruto's hand, and twisted it counterclockwise, which made him release the kunai in his left. Naruto flipped sideways and brought his right hand holding another kunai from above. Before he could connect, a kick in the gut sent Naruto flying, but he flipped and gained footing quickly. Never give the enemy an opportunity to make you lose your balance. Once you're in his reach, one fatal blow would end the fight, Hiruzen explained. Naruto was annoyed that one of his weapons was so easily snatched from him. The Hokage, as if he could read his mind, provoked him further. Come on. Can't fight with a single one. Want this back? Take it if you can, he said. Naruto got irritated further and charged at him. He started slashing rather aggressively at the man in hopes of landing a hit on him. His attacks weren't following any pattern. They were just random slashes and quite easy to read. The Hokage ducked under a horizontal blow and pinned the kunai at his neck. Naruto was unable to react quickly and stood still while closing his eyes. 2 suggestions. The first is to never give yourself into your own emotions during a fight. Stay calm and collected whatever the situation may be. Second, never close your eyes during a battle, Hiruzen said as he hit the kunai in Naruto's hand with his own, which flew a few yards back. Now go back, and come at me properly this time, he added. Naruto was still not calm enough but kept himself level-headed this time. He dashed at the Hokage but now struck at the openings he could find. Although not good enough, he was better than before. The Hokage noticed something odd during his strikes, but decided to save it for later, keeping in the back of his mind. Having played the defensive long enough, he decided to go on the offensive. Naruto was pushed to the defensive almost immediately, and he could barely manage to block the blows, although a few were getting to him. He was among the trees before he knew it. He had been pushed back and defeated so crazily that he was forced to retreat. A few shuriken made their way onto him, so he turned upside down on the branch, barely avoiding them. Oh, so you already have learnt the tree walking exercise. Although I should have expected it by now, Hiruzen said as he landed on the next branch. Naruto's mind was racing in the tense situation as he tried to figure out a plan to somehow counterattack. He forced Shaka through his feet in a burst to jump away while simultaneously threw several paper bomb-laced kunai towards the Hokage. They exploded while coming in the range of the Hokage so that he was pushed back. Naruto had managed to get out of sight from direct line of sight, at least for the time being. He was hiding in some bushes while formulating a possibly viable plan. Meanwhile, the Hokage was in the search but didn't seem to have any luck so far. Tsunade wasn't kidding when she said that he's a natural at sensing chakra. He can make his chakra flow in such a way and quantity that it can't be sensed too. This kid is not half bad, he thought. A while later he found Naruto between some trees trying to put an explosive tag around a kunai. He landed a few feet in front of him and threw some shuriken at him. To his surprise, the shuriken flew right through him. A clone, huh? Nice going. But now what? He thought. He didn't get more time to ponder as several ninja wires laced with explosive tags surrounded the trees around him. He expected another round of explosive kunai or shuriken but was surprised to see a barrage of saban needles coming around him from above. An explosive tag wall which restricts my movements. But why switch to saban needles? Kunai are designed for higher damage, while saban are designed for precision. So why would he unless damn it Tsunade? Now I understand, the Hokage thought, instantaneously alarmed. He didn't have much time to react before the saban would hit him. It wasn't the damage which the saban would do that worried him, it was the substance coated on it. Poison. The needles were almost upon him, and he couldn't dodge the attack on either side. Earth-style, rock shelter, was the only thing heard before a wall of earth covered him. As the semicircular dome was complete, all the poison-laced saban needles struck it from all the sides except from directly above. At the highest point of the tallest tree around, Naruto was sitting with a huge smirk, as if he had already won the match. You fell for it, Gigi. Now you have no way out. And I can definitely sense you in there, he said with a huge grin. He jumped upwards as high as he could using chakra under his feet as boost and then vertically aligned himself with the opening on the top of the dome where the saban weren't stuck. Clenching his fist tightly, he flew down with the effect of gravity at a high speed. This time, you can't escape. So, this round is as good as mine, he shouted as the Hokage was still sensed by him inside the wall. The impact was exponentially greater than expected, as the dome was shattered within a fraction of a second and the punch went straight through the wall, upon the man and onto the ground, which was shattered too around the whole area, uprooting many of the trees. The explosives around the area detonated with the disturbance, and the debris was launched into all directions. Few of them hit Naruto as well, although he managed to avoid the larger ones. Well, collateral damage was expected in the plan, but at least he managed to land a solid hit on the Hokage. Or did he? As he neared the Hokage, he noticed that there was no movement at all. Gigi, are you alright? I thought that you'd be able to handle it, so I figured I could use full power. Hey, say something please. You're making me worried, Naruto said with concern but neared him with caution. Having reached near enough, he saw something that he definitely didn't expect. Damn it! After all that work, why am I not able to land a single hit on him? He shouted to nobody. The figure supposed to be the Hokage was slowly dissolving into the ground like mud. It also revealed a big poster on which was written, "Nice try, but not enough. Meet me back at the ground." Smiley face. Under which were a few explosive seals stuck. Wait, what the he? As he had already started retreating from the spot but not in time as the seals exploded, throwing Naruto away from the shockwave. Scene break. The explosion had given Naruto various bruises and small burns but managed to avoid any major injury. As Naruto was heading back to the ground, he couldn't help but stop thinking. How did he escape like that? I sensed him inside. And was it a clone all along? Or did he make it after I trapped him? Or maybe when he was inside that dome? Yes, that's it. He switched himself with a mud clone inside and fled into the ground. Damn, I was too preoccupied with sensing him in the dome that I never thought to also look in the ground specifically. I should have used the resonance technique. Man, I feel so dumb right now. Now he also knows about another ability of mine without having any damage at all. Scene break. Back at the ground, Naruto appeared in a body flicker in a few moments. Look who decided to come back. I was wondering how long you'd take. Hiruzen taunted him. Naruto was trying to suppress his irritation since this was a lesson he had been given not long ago. Never let your emotions control you. With that, he threw a lot of shuriken towards the Hokage. The Hokage dodged all of them except one which he caught between his fingers. He threw it back at Naruto with a high speed while conveying in a neutral voice. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. The one shuriken multiplied exponentially into tens or maybe hundreds of shuriken which made way towards Naruto. Not being able to dodge in time, he crossed his forearms in front of him and waited for the inevitable. In an instant he felt as if his entire body was being sliced into hundreds of pieces. While the cuts were shallow, the sheer number of them overcame the tolerance of pain that he had. He fell to the ground trying to maintain consciousness after the sudden overload of pain that swept in his brain. I'm sorry, I guess I went overboard a little, Hiruzen said with concern. Naruto heard the words of sympathy and mentally smacked himself. No, this isn't over. Today I will show them that I am not weak. All the training and hard work wasn't for nothing. I'm not finished. Definitely not, he thought as he forcibly moved his body and started to stand up. Bring it, the fight isn't over yet. Far from it, Naruto said as he gripped a kunai and once again charged towards the old fellow. Once down for the count but not ready to give up, huh? I like the attitude, the determination to not give up, the Hokage thought. Hiruzen weaved a few hand signs and announced the jutsu he was about to use. Earth Style, Earth Flow River. Suddenly Naruto was caught in a mudslide-like flow that erupted from nowhere in the ground. He fell into it, and seemed to be washed away before he turned into a wooden log. Ah, he substituted himself. Right in time, Hiruzen thought. Naruto appeared from above and struck him with a kunai which he easily sidestepped. But Naruto kept up a constant barrage of slashes and kicks keeping the Hokage on his toes. He briskly lunged at him trying to stab him in the gut but Hiruzen turned sideways. Quickly changing the kunai in his hand into a reverse grip he tried to slash the kunai horizontally to land a hit. The Hokage grabbed his forearm with the left hand. Considering it an opportunity, Naruto flipped trying to kick him from above taking advantage of his short stature leading to a shorter and faster curve. The Hokage grabbed his foot with the right hand but was pushed down a little as it was chakra enhanced, although not very much since Naruto had used much of it in the earth-shattering punch in the forest. He brought down another leg on the right forearm pushing the Hokage in a squatted position so he couldn't use his legs to defend. Naruto grabbed the forearm of Hiruzen's left hand with which he was holding Naruto's other hand. At the moment, nobody had landed a hit on another but Naruto had a final trump card up his sleeve. On the hand with which he had grabbed the Hokage's forearm, a blue chakra appeared and suddenly Hiruzen flinched in pain releasing the grip on Naruto's other hand. With the grip gone, Naruto dropped the kunai and slided his hand with the same blue coating across Hiruzen's own which resulted in further intensification of the pain now in the palm which was already in his forearm. With his left arm which held Naruto's leg, he swung Naruto and hit him hard on the ground. With the impact, Naruto cried out in pain and stayed there. Hiruzen backed off a bit and checked his left arm. There was no visible injury yet the pain was there. Naruto, having a satisfactory smile on his face and his eyes closed, said only one sentence. Finally, chakra no mezu, success. What didn't you teach him, Tsunade? And how did he learn all that? Being able to use that means he's already quite well versed with medical ninjutsu. I've seen Chunin who aren't able to do a fraction of that. Hell, no ordinary jounin can do that either. This kid is something else indeed, Hiruzen thought. Naruto was totally exhausted, having used up much of his chakra in the last move and was too battered up to get back up again. I just hope this wasn't a damn clone again, he thought as he drifted off towards unconsciousness after hearing one final sentence from the Hokage. Alright, I guess that's enough for today. Time skip. He woke up hearing a few muffled sounds from a close distance. Did you have to go that hard in him, sensei? He's just a child. I'm sorry. Although you taught him how to use that inhuman strength of yours, so it wasn't that much of a child's play, but yeah. Guess I became too involved in the battle. It won't happen again. Again? I'm definitely not letting you battle him again. Yesterday I wasn't sure so I gave you the benefit of the doubt. But now I am. What if you get too involved in the battle again? Who was the one preaching about not letting your emotions get in the way, huh? Well, the loud one was Tsunade, alright. And the other one was her teacher, although the scene doesn't make one believe so. Still, nobody could retort when an angry woman was speaking in front of him. Tsunade was healing the internal injury in his hand and forearm while lecturing him at the same time. The Hokage had already put the white robe back on. Naruto looked up to see Shizen healing his injuries while looking at the both of them with a concerned look. After all, watching your master arguing/lecturing her sensei isn't the best of entertainment someone can expect. Naruto sat upright with a little help from Shizen, and at the same time the Hokage's hand was also patched up so the bickering of the lady had ceased. I've healed the damaged muscles and tendons the best I could. Now just make sure to not strain the hand too much for the day, and you'll be alright by tomorrow, was the last statement from Tsunade before all the attention turned to Naruto. Finally up at last, huh? Tsunade smiled. Even after traveling with her for 3 years, he still couldn't understand how a woman's attitude could change in a moment. But he decided to quit looking for an answer long ago. One could doubt that would Kami himself be able to answer this or not. Anyways, he decided to answer. Yes, thanks to Shizen Nei-chan. I feel completely fine now, except for being tired, he said with a thumbs up. Well, it was more entertaining than I imagined, Tsunade said and then added with squinted eyes, so how was it, Sarutobi-sensei? Did you have your fun? Hiruzen rolled his eyes at the constant verbal attack of his former apprentice, but it went unnoticed due to the hat covering his face in its shadow. Ahem, yeah? I am pleased to see that Naruto has progressed so far. Especially the part where he could use super strength and chakra scalpel. Only a person who has command over delicate chakra control and medical ninjutsu can pull off these tricks. Hiruzen said and turned to Naruto. You are fit to be a shinobi at this age, that I can guarantee. But still, there's no hurry, we are in a time of peace. Continue training yourself, and become even more stronger. You'll be an exceptional ninja by the time you put on a leaf headband. And I have no doubts that you will become a Hokage worthy of his title should you thrive hard to achieve the goal, the Hokage said with a smile which reflected nothing but admiration and pride. Naruto jumped up in enthusiasm only to fall on his back due to the fatigue. He was grinning and wincing at the same time. It was a weird expression but hilarious nonetheless. That's the other thing Naruto's exceptionally good at. You already know that his sensory skills are beyond great. But now get a load of this, his chakra control is exceptionally incredible as well. And that's quite something since large chakra reserves usually tend to mess up the user's control. Normally people with small chakra reserves are able to control their chakra flow well. It took me a lot of time to learn medical ninjutsu thoroughly, and to get where I am because of this reason, Tsunade said. After a pause, she added, but watching Naruto, I knew he could do even better than me, and quicker, with the right guidance. Flawless chakra control over a large amount of chakra is basically a gift of nature not everyone is blessed with. I trained him hard in the skills of medical ninjutsu and forced it into him as much as I could. I didn't think at first that it could be possible, but gradually he turned out to get quite skilled at it. Although it was something he didn't learn just because of his curiosity or natural interest in the subject but due to his empathy towards others. Looking back, it was an interesting story in itself. As she reminisced. Flashback. Hey Naruto, you can go play with Taunton if you want to. But don't wander away too far and come back on time. We also have to continue your taijutsu and target practice, said Shizen in an ordering voice just like a teacher orders her students. Taijutsu is okay, but can't we do that target practice training with kunai or shuriken? They look way more cooler than those needles of yours. Naruto pouted. We'll get to that later. And just you remember that Saban needles are much more precise on target compared to the other ranged weapons. Not to mention that being relatively small in size, you can carry more of them around in comparison to kunai. Shizen lectured. Yeah, okay. Come on Taunton, let's not waste our precious break time hearing Shizen Nei-chan's lectures, said Naruto as he ran away holding the pet. Tsunade was sitting nearby reading another one of her books related to medicine. She was also quietly observing both of her other companions and smiled widely at the conversations of the pair. She was always reminded of her younger brother Nawaki when she saw him. Always outspoken, overenthusiastic, and sometimes a knucklehead. Having Naruto with them had made both of the women more responsible. Tsunade minimized her drinking habits quite a lot, although the gambling was still not out of her coverage yet. Tsunade had focused more on being a doctor and helping out people through their journey while training and taking care of Naruto. She didn't pamper him as if she was his mother since he would grow too attached to them. She was initially irritated on being called Bachan since she wasn't that age even in reality, and definitely not while she had her young appearance on, which was permanent but let it slide, not being too strict with him. The goal was to teach him the importance of social relations like friends and family in one's life. Shizen was dutiful as her assistant and helped her in whichever way she could. Although she was happy that he called her Nei-chan and not Aunt or something. Naruto sprinted off to play tag with Tauntaun since hide and seek was totally a useless game against the pig as it could detect faint scents over wide areas. It was Naruto's turn to catch Tauntaun as he ran into some woods after counting to 10 hoping to find where the pig was hiding since it didn't have the ability to run as fast as Naruto could. Ironically, Naruto could outrun the pig but wasn't able to hide or rest due to being spotted easily when he was running away. Looking around the trees for Tauntaun, he heard an animal voice which sounded like a bird shrieking in desperation. A little scared in the fear of encountering a wild beast, he was hesitant at first, but made up his mind with an uneven combination of courage and curiosity to check it out. He looked crouching through the bushes warily to what lied on the opposite side. The guess proved true enough, as there lied a broken nest along with a bird whose left wing was bleeding profusely. Not perceived to be a lot visually, but because of the fact that there isn't much blood as humans in the first place, it was an alarming sign. He delved into the thought as to how the bird ended up in the seeming condition in the first place, but shoved the thought aside as the bird looked not too far from the cold hands of death. Although he instinctively crouched back down due to his sixth sense indicating the presence of an unknown danger around. True enough, he spotted a snake crawling its way down the tree slowly with minimal visible movement towards its prey. The snake was too close to the bird now, so Naruto couldn't risk rushing off with the bird carelessly. Somehow the bird in the nest had survived the first attack of the predator, but it was now about to be finished. Although he felt bad for interfering with nature, which beautifully contained in itself an endless food cycle with numerous food chains interlocking together, he couldn't help but sympathize with the bird in that condition. He resolved to save the bird at any cost to the best of his abilities. Slowly pulling out a kunai from his pouch, he readied himself to hit the snake in the head by performing a precise throw. Although he was confident enough about hitting a bullseye at a stationary target, he didn't have much experience in moving targets yet. What was it? What was it again? Yeah, I remember now. Red touches yellow, kills a fellow. Red touches black, safe for Jack? He whispered to nobody. Cursing his luck, he examined the stripes to find that the snake was poisonous indeed. A/N. Please don't tell me afterwards that it's for coral snakes or something like that. It's just for adding an interesting line. Same thing about how Jack came to be a name in Narutoverse. Peace. Damn it, now I can't risk any chance of failure. The snake will be guarded if I miss, and I can't take out the possibility that it could attack me suddenly. Naruto thought out loud. The possibility of the bird making it out alive thinned even more at the realization. The snake crawled a little quicker on touching the ground at the sight of its prey. As it reached the spot, the bifid tongue slipped out making a hissing sound. It raised its head upwards and then backwards in order to jerk in front with a high speed, not leaving any chance to let its prey flee, not that it was in any condition to do so anyways. But predatory instincts don't think that deep. Naruto captured that very moment to launch the kunai he patiently kept ready in his hand as the head of the snake stopped moving backwards now in order to propel itself forward. Before it could do so, the kunai hit dead on and the snake was sent flying before it hit a tree trunk hanging lifelessly. Naruto sped towards the bird, picking it up gently before racing off as fast as he could to the only one he thought could save the creature, if it could be saved. Boy, he sure hoped so. Scene break and time skip. Ba-chan! Please help! Tsunade looked up suddenly with concern, having heard Naruto's cry for help. Before she could leave to find him, although Naruto himself came running to her with an injured bird in his hands. She was relieved that Naruto wasn't in any danger himself, but also alerted that the bird was in no good condition. Please, Ba-chan, can you heal it? I don't want this bird to die of the injuries. Naruto asked, sympathy overflowing out in his voice. I'm not a veterinary doctor, Naruto. This is not an area I specialize in, Tsunade said, but looking at the sadness that built up in those sky-blue eyes of his she added, but I'm not totally unfamiliar either. I'll see what I can do, but no guarantees. Now lay it down here. Naruto did as instructed, and she placed her hand over the bird and a green glow covered it. She frowned upon realizing that the problem was deeper than originally imagined. Shizen had also hurried to them after she heard Naruto shout while she was preparing lunch. Naruto, it's not just the wound that we have to worry about, there's also something else, Tsunade told him. Yeah, poison, Naruto simply stated. Tsunade, on the other hand, was more than surprised and asked, exactly, but how do you know that? Because I killed the snake that was about to eat it, which was poisonous due to the pattern of stripes on its scales, he stated again in a matter-of-fact kawaii tone. You what? Tsunade gasped and shouted, momentarily losing her focus on healing the bird. Sensing that he could be in real trouble soon, he tried to explain how he had felt sorry for the bird and wanted to help it. He got a stern reply that it wasn't a good call and that will be reprimanded later, to which he silently nodded. Tsunade resumed back to healing the bird by extracting the poison and stopping the bleeding. Well, it was a good decision studying the anatomy of birds, Tsunade thought as she recollected how she had once read about birds in case a carrier messenger bird was injured and the need was urgent to deliver a message. She left the patching up for Shizen to do while demanding an explanation from Naruto instantly. Not pleased by his actions but still admiring the boy for his courage, she decided to let the matter go with some minor punishment, giving an indirect message that another reckless behavior won't be tolerated in the future. As the bird was fully patched up, it was put into a basket and left to recuperate. It had left consciousness midway when Naruto brought it back. "Will it be okay, Bachan?" he asked. "I've extracted the poison completely, so that's not something to worry about. Although, the blood loss was significant. It's up to the state of the bird's body to see whether it can survive or not." She stated not to fill any false hopes into the child. "I understand. I'll wait for the bird to heal patiently," Naruto replied calmly, although he was worried. An idea popping to his mind, he said, "Hey Bachan, can I ask you something?" "Sure, go on," she replied. "I also want to learn the art of medical ninjutsu. Although I did manage to kill the snake, it would have been for nothing if the bird had died. If similarly someone was injured and even if I defeat the enemy in battle, what good will it be if he or she dies?" Naruto said. Tsunade didn't immediately erupt into laughter at the request solely for the reason that there was complete sincerity in his words as well as in his eyes. "That's exactly what I thought back then when I appealed to the Hokage to introduce medical ninjas in the team formations during the war. He's thinking in the right direction, at least." But, she thought, medical ninjutsu is not regular training, Naruto. It requires immense chakra control. It is an entirely different art which requires not only continuous training in delicate flow and control of chakra in someone else's body but also the deep knowledge and understanding of the various processes of the human body. A child your age isn't expected to learn all that anyways. Better to keep up your training for now," Tsunade explained. "But I can do it. Please give me a chance. I'll do anything to prove it," he asked with a slight desperation. Looking at his stubbornness, she said, "Fine. We'll go with the tree climbing exercise." "But Lady Tsunade, isn't it too early to do that? He recently learned how to infuse chakra, but we've never tested it before. Going directly to that won't end up doing any good for him, I suppose," Shizen said with concern, as she had expected Tsunade to downright reject his request. "That is exactly the point. Words don't seem to pass through his thick skull. Hopefully the lesson does. Also hopefully the wounds don't," she told Shizen as she eyed the boy. "One more thing, you have 1 hour to do it," Tsunade added. "That's impossible. It would take at least a few days even if he could possibly do that all. Please reconsider, my lady," Shizen said. "I know, but we don't have decades to teach him. If he can't keep up with the pace, might as well forget it. Let's go, we'll start after lunch," Tsunade scoffed. Shizen was against the idea but knew that her master had a fair point. It takes a lot of effort to learn the techniques, not to mention the hardcore study one has to do to grasp the functioning of the complex mysteries of the human body. Naruto was silently listening to the conversation, but on the inside he had only one thing in mind: the task given to him in order to prove that he was able and willing to work hard. Naruto simply walked to a tree and focused on getting his chakra gathered up in his feet. He had asked some time before about how Shizen walked up a tree without falling off like that to get some special leaves for a medicine. He had asked her to teach that to him, but she shrugged it off, telling him he had lots of things to learn before coming to that. Naruto pouted but did not press the matter further, as Shizen could complain his disobedience to Tsunade, and that woman was someone nobody wanted to tick off. He put his right leg, keeping it straight on the trunk, and focused the proper amount of chakra it would take to pull his whole body weight attached to the tree. Once achieved, he lifted the second leg and divided the amount of chakra between both his legs as the second one hit the trunk. Once again diverting the flow to one leg, this time the left one, he took a step carefully. Carefully balancing the amount of chakra in his feet in a stepwise fashion constantly, he reached the lowest branch and lied on it to rest a little before going further. The tricky part was that if he didn't divide the chakra when on both feet, there was too much chakra and he would be pushed away. On the other hand, if when on one feet he didn't have enough chakra to stick, he'd simply lose the grip, slipping straight down. Not easy though. He thought about why both of them were making a fuss over it. A little practice and he'd get it subconsciously after that. The scenario with the spectators was entirely different. Both Tsunade and Shizen had their jaws dropped in bewilderment as they couldn't believe their eyes. How in the freaking hell is this boy able to perform the trick with such ease? This was the only thought that was currently revolving in their heads over and over again. On the other hand, up above on the tree, Naruto saw the two women who were looking like they had seen a ghost. Before going to ask what happened, he decided to complete the exercise first. Slowly and steadily, he walked up to the top of the tree, with each step being less tougher to handle than the previous one. He felt the movements slowly being etched into his muscle memory. Once he reached the top, he waved down to the ladies below. I guess Shizen, I was wrong after all. This is not normal, to say the least. I take my words back, he is definitely up for the job. Tsunade said, having seen Naruto acing the test in one attempt rather than the 1 hour he was given. Shizen, being equally flabbergasted, nodded in agreement, saying, "Me too, my lady, me too." Naruto, upon descending the tree, asked the woman about how well he did in the exercise. "That was exceptionally well done, Naruto. I have no doubt you'll be able to learn medical ninjutsu if you work hard enough." Tsunade replied, praising the boy, although not showing the utter astonishment that was present on her face a few moments ago. Naruto grinned widely at the accomplishment that now allowed him to learn what he wanted. Tsunade was curious about something, so she crouched in front of Naruto and moved her hand around Naruto's body and was left wide-eyed. Now she understood part of why Naruto's chakra control was good. Before being questioned, although, she diverted the topic for the time being. "Come on, Naruto. Shizen has prepared the lunch, so first we're going to eat it, and then we'll move on to the water walking exercise," Tsunade said. "Yes, I'll be keeping the basket along with our other stuff for the bird to rest, or if any other complication occurs. You guys go on ahead and start eating, I'll join you soon. By the way, Naruto, aren't we forgetting something?" Shizen said. "Huh, what?" Naruto said before realization hit him, and he mentally facepalmed. "Where's Taunton?" Both the women finished. Flashback over. The third Hokage was amazed to hear Tsunade and how Naruto was proving to be a genius of his own kind. But remembering that talent without hard work is just a blunt knife, no matter how strong its metal be, he justified the quote by talking to him. "Although you have proved to be good at ninja skills, Naruto, it goes without saying that your techniques aren't refined yet. Not that I'd expect something like that from someone your age, but if you wish, I can help you in doing that," Hiruzen said. Shizen said with a concerned voice, "Apologies for the interruption, Hokage-sama, but I think Naruto has had enough of training for someone his age. Probably it would be good if he spends time like a normal kid, relaxing, and starts the training next year at the academy." It was only an offer, of course. Naruto has the choice to accept or decline as per his own wishes. I am merely making sure that he doesn't regret missing an opportunity later on. Unlike in the times of war, shinobi aren't required to be sent out in the battlefield without proper training. So there is no pressure of any kind, but one must always be prepared, Hiruzen replied calmly. Tsunade nodded in acceptance, that she would go on with whatever Naruto chose to do. Naruto pondered over it for a few seconds, and then slowly stood up this time. He clenched his right palm into a fist and slammed it into the palm of his left hand in front of him and declared, "If I dream to be Hokage, then there's no time to relax. Lots of shinobi out there are hundreds of times stronger than me and working a lot harder too. I won't give myself any excuse to be left behind. And how can I expect to be Hokage when I don't push myself harder than the others? I will continue to work hard until the day you hand that hat over to me yourself, Gigi," with a profound determination in his azure eyes. The Hokage grinned contently, looking at the young boy in front of him, and thought, "Looks like the will of fire burns brightly within the future of Konoha too." Tsunade merely smiled, expecting the reaction since she had got to know him very well during the last few years. Shizen still wasn't confident of the decision, but respected the opinion of her sensei and her sensei's sensei. After all, they were far more knowledgeable and experienced. So she kept her mouth shut and silently hoped that Naruto be well whatever he did. "Then it's decided. You will be trained in the arts of the shinobi under proper guidance. Remember well, that the path from here is only going to be tougher. And you will not get a chance to back out. But when you're finished, I'm sure that you will be proud of yourself. To endure whatever hardships are thrown on your way and overcome them, is what it means to be a true ninja." The Hokage spoke wisely. "Yeah, I'm ready. I will never back on my word, Databeo," Naruto stated. "Calm down, kid. It's not like you're gonna train right now," Tsunade smacked him. Naruto blinked and rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. "Sensei, you didn't tell us who is going to be his instructor. I don't know many people around here who'd be willing to train him and be trusted enough to keep it confidential," Tsunade asked, although she imagined it would probably be the ANBU that had been close to the boy's father in the past. "Oh, I thought that you trusted me enough to handle this, Tsunade," the Hokage said with a glint of mischief in his eyes. "No, it's not that. I was just a little concerned, nothing else. I'm sure you'll find someone, Tsunade said, but stopped at the growing smirk that was being kept painfully small by the Hokage. Suddenly understanding what the Hokage meant by his statement actually and mentally scolding herself for not getting the pun, she said half shocked, "You don't mean to say." Hiruzen started laughing knowing that Tsunade had understood and said, "You're right. I will be training him from now on until he is admitted in the academy." Shizen as usual was the most shocked and said, "But Lord Hokage, why would you personally go to such lengths? And not to mention, how will you have time to train him? Why not assign him an instructor?" Tsunade didn't say anything after Shizen's question but was actually curious herself. "The truth is I feel I have failed one of my students. And that I want to have one more chance of correcting my mistake but I can't. The least I can do to lessen the burden on my heart is to not regret having lost one of the best opportunities one have got. Until yesterday, I didn't plan to test you myself. And I won't be honest if I didn't say that I haven't had any prior plan on making you my student. You will be able to grow up into a fine young shinobi that I already told you. I just want to contribute my part," he said as he gave a weak smile. Tsunade knew who he was talking about and thought of telling him that it wasn't his fault in the least, but decided to not engage deep into that particular topic. "Great. Lessons from the Hokage himself," Naruto said as he grinned. "Although don't think I'll go easy. I was far from my actual power fighting you today," Hiruzen added. Naruto nodded nonchalantly, still lost in his own happiness. "Okay, so it's decided. I'll be training him and improving his skills from now on until academy begins. We'll start in these very grounds 7 days from now, since I'll also have to make adjustments in office routine, not to mention filtering some paperwork. I'll tell you the rest of the schedule when we meet here next. Also, I'll have you arranged a pass so that you can cross this barrier without permission every time. Although I suggest that you train somewhere else when you're alone, since someone else being here without myself is bound to arise unwanted suspicion, which is the last thing we need. It also goes without saying that you won't tell anyone about this training. People are bound to get on my back even if someone gets the slightest hint of what's going on inside here," Hiruzen said. "Yes sir, understood," Naruto replied, paying full attention now, forming a salute which seemed comedic. There was a slight pause, after which Tsunade decided to speak. "Now that everything is settled and done, we'll be leaving immediately. I entrust Naruto's training to you, sensei. And Naruto, take care of yourself. Our stuff has already been sent to the gates, so it's departure time," Tsunade declared. Naruto knew that he had to part ways with the duo, trio, today, but was still saddened that he now had to live alone again. Not that he felt alone again from inside, it's just that he had been so accustomed to being with them all these years that now it seemed a little hard to let go. Tsunade saw him come closer with his head drawn down, and the bangs of his hair covering his eyes. He clutched his arms around the waist of the woman, and silently stood there. Everyone knew what the emotions were and patiently let him be. Tsunade felt him sobbing lightly, and put her arms beneath and over his head to give some courage to him as well as herself. She decided to talk before she gave in to her own emotions of being distanced from him, as she found a lump forming in her throat. Tsunade said while rubbing her hand over his hair, Now, Naruto, there's no need to be sad. We're just going on another journey as usual. I also have my responsibilities as a doctor, right? In the meantime, I know that you will keep working hard. Don't overexert yourself though. Health is of the utmost importance. So take your rest and recuperation as a part of training too. Spend your money wisely. If you have any kind of problems, tell them to Hokage-sama, and keep in touch with me or I'll come here just to smack you for that. As she chuckled. She was a little sad as he let go of her, but when she saw his face with a bright smile, all the worry went away. I'm sorry. I understand. I'll make sure to keep in touch. I'm confident that the next time I see you, I'll be much stronger, just you watch. And take care of yourself too. I'll miss you very much, he said. He then walked to the other two and hugged them tightly with a happy face, and told them that he'll be fine, so no need to worry. Shizen and Tonton were also happy now, and with that they took their leave and said goodbyes. Naruto left for his home after that, and the others headed to the village gates. Scene break and time skip. Naruto felt like his home was somewhere on the other side of the planet. The walk was extremely tiring as the fatigue hadn't worn out yet. Added to the fact that he had to be careful not to be seen around the parts, he had to put on a hinge. Finally reaching his door, he released the hinge. Even pushing chakra into the seal seemed like his soul was being sucked out. He quickly undressed to take a quick shower and discarded the clothes aside in the laundry basket in the corner. Although they didn't look like they were in the condition of being worn again. The shower hitting the body had at least dulled the fatigue a little. Not spending much time there although, he put on some comfortable t-shirt and pajamas and hit the mattresses on the bed without a second thought after blinding the curtains and fell into deep slumber in a few seconds. Scene break. Tsunade and Shizen were about to leave the village and were standing at the gates. The Hokage had politely asked to walk them, to which they agreed. Sarutobi-sensei, I couldn't say it back then, but I'm worried about Naruto. How will he manage everything alone? All this time we were there to take care of him. Not to mention now the villagers will be on him again. Tsunade asked him with worry reflecting in her eyes. Understanding her concern but at the same time stating the undeniable fact, he spoke wisely. I know what's going in your mind right now, Tsunade. But keep in mind that you won't always be around to protect him. He will have to stand up for himself one day or the other. The earlier he does that, the stronger he'll become. Don't forget that in all this time whatever you have taught him isn't in vain. Remember the saying? Give a man a meal and you feed him for a day. Teach the man how to cook and you feed him for a lifetime. With a little laugh he added, do you really think that a boy who managed to disable one arm of a Kage can't even protect himself from some run-of-the-mill civilians? Tsunade couldn't help but chuckle at the statement, although it was far from the truth. The Hokage didn't try to hurt him while people out there were trying to kill him. But she now had faith that Naruto would be able to fend for himself and slowly turn into a fine young man. With the smile on their faces, all of them departed except for the Hokage, who bade them goodbye. Pulling the cigar out of his mouth, he thought of how he had taken up the responsibility of training the boy in his own hands. Blowing out the smoke and turning back to resume to his duties as the Hokage, he said only one sentence. Well, at least things are starting to get interesting. It was somewhat around afternoon when he woke up. Groggily, he made his way to the kitchen. There was just the water supply, so he had to bring his own glass from the backpack. After being a little refreshed, he looked around his home. It was as empty as he had first seen it. He had to get a lot of things that one would need in a place to live. The items he had back in his old house were barely in usable conditions back then, so being kept in store for all this time must have rusted them halfway through if he were to guess. There might be some important or usable stuff in there, but most of it was now basically useless. Thinking of his old house, he was reminded that the Hokage had said something about that one belonging to him too. So maybe he could make some use of it? Nah, on second thought, those irritating villagers must still be prying around in hopes of pranking or beating me up again, now that it isn't unknown that I'm back in the village. I could beat the crap out of them now before they could say demon, but I guess I shouldn't cause unwanted attention. I'll leave it be for now, I guess, he thought. He unpacked his backpack completely and put various stuff in their proper places. A part of his study table was occupied with important books and scrolls along with the rest in the cupboard. The wardrobe wasn't much filled with the few sets of clothes he had. The kitchen, dining room and the bathroom were almost the same as before. After all, he was traveling constantly, so the stuff to be carried was just the essentials. I would have to ask Gigi about that. I don't exactly know many shops around here, and I don't have the kind of money with me either that would be required to buy these kinds of stuff, Naruto said with a hand on his chin to no one in particular. This was expected, as throughout their travels all the financial tasks were attended by Shizen alone. Naruto was too young to do this kind of work, and Tsunade, well, she'd gamble it away when she had the chance. He changed into something more presentable, as he couldn't just roam around in pajamas. He had gone to check the clothes that he had wore during the match, and well, he was right. Those weren't in the condition to be worn anymore. He had to get replacement clothes as well as a few extra pairs. He went to the wardrobe and put on the usual white t-shirt with the orange jacket and black pants. Tucking the pouch with the ninja tools around his hip, he was now ready to move. Given that the seals were so tough, he didn't have to worry about anything being damaged or stolen. No civilian had the balls or skills to break through the barrier. And he didn't think any ninja would have a reason to break into his house. Yeah, shinobi hated him too, but they were disciplined enough not to indulge in any unlawful activities. The punishment for a shinobi was tougher than that of the civilians, since the shinobi were comparably privileged and were expected to uphold the law and order, not break it. Scene break and time skip. At Hokage's office. The Hokage was busy sorting out the piles of paperwork that was scattered on his desk as well as around it. Sometimes he wondered if using a cat-on jutsu to burn it up would do any good. But Kami knows how, he would get an equal amount the next day he'd come. He heard a knock at the door. Not expecting anyone at this time, he raised his guard a bit and ordered the person to come in. The door opened and an all-familiar face characterized by whiskers came into view. The Hokage was immediately relaxed that it was just Naruto who came to see him. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not disturbing you," the boy meekly said with a smile on his face. He had already sensed the presence of ANBU bodyguards around. 2 behind the bookshelf, 1 in the attic, and 1 under the couch. How weird, he thought. Oh, don't worry about it. You can come at midnight in my home and still find me surrounded by these things while I'm busy dreaming of finally finishing all this paperwork. the Hokage said, half laughing and the other half with frustration. Naruto tried to fake laugh, having little idea what the statement referred to. Anyways, why are you here? Is it about something important? Hokage said, sensing his obliviousness. No, nothing that important. I just had to ask about a few general issues. Naruto said, clarifying that there was no necessary or urgent issue for which the ANBU had to be sent away and privacy seals to be activated. The Hokage nodded in acceptance, and waited for his further queries. You see, I recently shifted into the new home, as you already know. And I have to buy a few things that would be needed since much of the old household stuff is unusable now. And as you know that, there won't be any time for these things after this week, so I was wondering if you could send someone who would be able to help me get all the things, or maybe send them over? Naruto said, carefully not to reveal any sensitive information about the upcoming training. The Hokage, understanding his point, nodded his head in acknowledgement. But contrary to what Naruto had requested, he said, Naruto, why do you think I left out all that for you and not have it completely done beforehand? It was because I wanted you to be self-reliant from now on. I will not be sending anyone to select your needs and wishes. He knew that Naruto would have been dependent on the other two during his travels. But now that he's back in the village, he should be able to make minor decisions and handle his own. Oh, okay, I guess. So what should I do then? I don't have any money right now, nor do I know many shops like that around here. Not to mention that I'll be needing someone to shift the things inside, and I don't think anybody would be willing to do that for me. Naruto said, quoting out his problems. Okay, listen closely. First, do you have a list of what you wish to buy for your home? Hokage asked. Naruto momentarily mentally facepalmed, having forgot to write down whatever he had in mind, and moved his neck to the sides quickly in negative. So first thing you have to do is make a list of whatever you want and look out for the required shops in the market. Once done, come back here. I'll then provide you with an alternative ID for your henge, so just give a picture with the details right now to the secretary outside. That solves your problem of help you'll need from the workers or shops. Lastly, money won't be an issue since we're not going for luxury but just the basics, which will be arranged easily. I'll meet you in 3 days and then we can talk further about it. That should be enough time to cover all of the required tasks. Does that solve everything, or you still have something left? The Hokage explained. No, of course not. That would be alright. I'll make sure to do all tasks and meet you in 3 days. Naruto replied enthusiastically. He already knew that money was equally important of an asset as everything else was. So using it effectively was another skill he had to develop, even if there was enough to spare at a particular time. Hiruzen pulled out an envelope and handed it to Naruto. Whatever essential items you may need for the next few days would be easily covered with this amount. Anyways, you won't find it that easy to make out a list. These kinds of things are suited to women. It's like they have a knack for it since they are born. Huh? Naruto tilted his head in confusion. Never mind. If that's all, you may leave, Hokage said with a sigh. Yes, and good luck with whatever you were doing, Naruto said as he ran away. Hiruzen looked at the piles of paperwork around the desk and swore that he had completed half of it before Naruto came. He exclaimed to nobody, how the hell these things just grow in size automatically? Only a few suppressed ANBU snickers could be heard. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was walking around in his home with a pen and a notepad in his hands. He was beginning to feel a little frustrated since many things didn't come to mind at once when generally looking for them. He was roaming around room to room looking for anything that was required so he won't have to make trips to the market every now and then. But everything looked so empty, there wasn't anything that came to mind to fill that much. He remembered the Hokage telling that it was better done by a girl or something like that. But he wasn't having anyone help anytime soon. Should have asked Shizune-chan while she was in the village. It would have been a piece of cake, thinking he was about to scream mentally. I guess I'll just write them up as I feel the need to use anything and it's unavailable, he said, not so confidently since there were a lot of things which might not be needed in 2 or 3 days. Exasperated, he threw the notepad on the bed and thought about going out for some fresh air which might get his mind working again. The balcony wasn't enough space and he didn't want to sit idle anyways. So he went out to explore the village further. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was walking away from the crowded places to the outskirts of the village. He could see a few of the clan compounds as he trod away from the main district. The area was comparatively far more calm. Now he knew why these compounds were built away from those markets. He continued on towards the training fields. There weren't a whole lot of people around, so he walked without any hesitation, avoiding them. Although he did have some curiosity, so he suppressed his chakra and went on to look at a random training ground where he could sense a few people. Hiding in a tree, he saw 3 young ninjas fighting against some silver-haired jounin by looking at the dark green vest he was wearing and the high level of chakra he sensed from him. Deducing from that, those must be students training under him. He had no idea why, but the jounin seemed vaguely familiar. Although, the look was far from what he thought of training, since all the jounin was doing was to kick them around with his hands in his pockets. But he also saw why the students were unable to connect a hit. Those idiots. If they are all against a single one, why not coordinate their attacks rather than attack blindly? He's no pushover if he's a jounin, and yet none seem to even see eye to eye with each other, Naruto contemplated. Anyways, it wasn't his place to judge. He had other things to take care of. The jounin was more than enough for a teacher if the students listened to him. With these thoughts, he backed off and jumped on the other side to look around further and left. On the other side, the jounin wondered if he had seen someone leaving the place from the corner of his eye, and also squinted at the fact that why he couldn't sense him at all. Time skip. After going through various training fields, and obviously avoiding those belonging to individual clans, he reached a certain overgrown field resembling a deep forest which looked abandoned, due to all the locked gates and fences he could see surrounding the entire area. He would have moved on quite willingly until he sensed a lone chakra signature somewhere around in the middle of the center and edge of the forest. Is someone training in this place? But it's locked, so why would anyone go in here? There are lots of other places. Can it be that someone got stuck inside and can't find a way out? This place seems like one can't navigate easily enough. Should I go inside and check? Or maybe I should just walk away. Should I ask Gigi? But what if someone's in trouble right now? What should I do? Those were the thoughts running in his mind as he scrambled around, his hands on his head in frustration. Not to mention he was a little scared of the appearance of the place, added to which he didn't know the territory inside. On the other hand, leaving a needy person who might require assistance as soon as possible alone in such a place while he could help him was something he could never do. So, without any more delay, he leapt over the gates and fences in an acrobatic manner and landed on the other side. Running deeper into the forest, what he missed in the hurry was a sign board further ahead on which was visible a danger sign of skull and bones, and what was written under it could be read. Training Area 44. The Forest of Death. Time skip. What the hell is this place? I've been here for half an hour at most and almost been eaten 5 times even when I'm being so careful. What in the world is this person thinking of roaming around here? Naruto said out loud as he leapt away at branches. The chakra signature was still further away, but he could sense that it was getting stronger as he got near. Hope I'm not too late. If someone is actually in trouble, that is, he thought. He increased his speed to reach the destination quickly, but was again interrupted by a giant spider along the way. Getting annoyed, he one-punched the spider down with his enhanced strength and trod forward hastily. Finally reaching the person he was looking for, he hid in the tree's shadows to look at him. Wait, it's a her. The person standing there was a girl in her late teens having violet hair tied up in a ponytail. She was wearing a coat and mesh bodysuit underneath, but the coat fairly covered almost all of the upper half of her body closely. She had a leaf headband over her head. He decided to approach her warily, but was surprised when he sensed a similar chakra behind and a kunai was on his neck before he could turn. Looking for someone, little guy? A feminine voice asked. He saw the woman in front of him disperse into snakes. It was a snake clone, huh? Never saw one before, he thought. How did you know I was here? He asked. Well, I can sense people now and then. Although you're just a little brat, so you won't have any chakra at all. It had more to do with the fact that I heard a loud noise from that very direction, she replied. Oh, it was at that moment I punched the spider down, he facepalmed mentally. He thought of the options he had at the moment. Either he could elbow the girl fast enough and then engage in a fight, or simply surrender and talk nicely. Given that she was roaming around here in this place crawling with all kinds of deadly creatures, she was no joke. But most importantly, she was a leaf shinobi, and that was enough to give her benefit of the doubt. So he chose the latter. I was looking for you. I mean no harm. I'm a little scared of it right now, so could you please remove this kunai from my neck? He asked politely. The girl made no movement for a few seconds, but then removed the kunai, guessing no harm could be done before listening the matter out clearly. He was just a young boy after all. Okay, but if you want to talk, let's sit someplace, she said as she jumped down. Both of them sat near the base of the tree while the girl demanded why he was after her. I was roaming around the training ground but sensed a single chakra signature here. I thought somebody could be in trouble, so I may be able to help, he explained. So, you want me to believe we're able to sense my chakra from far outside the fences? What are you, 9? 10 at most? Sensory ninja are a different class altogether. Most Chunin can't sense that far. Who are you kidding, brat? I thought you just entered by mistake and were expecting someone to save you, she said. No, I did come here in case you needed any help or something. And don't underestimate me just because of my age, Naruto retorted, a little offended. Calm down, brat. Well, I guess I can't deny the fact completely since you managed to walk through the forest while you look mostly unharmed, she said, eyeing him. Humph, he just said, turning his head sideways. Okay, I never got your name. Care to share? She asked rather nicely, which seemed a little forced. Naruto Uzumaki. I hope you'll tell me yours too, he replied. Anko Midarashi. Nice to meet you, Naruto. Wait, aren't you that kid who? She stopped mid-sentence. It's alright. I know what that's about. Nice to meet you, Anko-san, he said. They made small talk about things here and there. He got to know that she was also like him, as some villagers treated her badly too, although not to an extent as much they hated him. It was because of the snake Sannin that she was put under guidance of a long time ago. She was thus also mocked as the snake bitch due to the curse mark he had used on her. That's why she roamed around here since she was young, because no one dared to step foot in this forest, and she was well acquainted with the surroundings. But now she was a Chunin, and no one dared to mess with her. She was empathetic towards him, that's why she did start to like to talk around him. So why exactly were you taking a stroll in the middle of the day here? She asked. He rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and told her about the list he had to make to manage his home. Also how he miserably failed to do so, in the first attempt at least. So he went outside to explore and get some fresh air. What? That's nothing to be worked up on. If you want, I'll be glad to help, she said. Naruto was momentarily relieved that someone could help him, but still wasn't sure if she was trustworthy enough to be shown his home. She picked up his hesitation quite easily and thought of the only way to gain someone's trust, that is, to put your own trust in them. She motioned him to follow as she said, "Come on." Naruto was not sure of what to do but decided to go along as long as there wasn't any danger. Not far from the place where they were originally, she stopped in her tracks where two giant trees stood closely while their roots were intermingled above the ground. Not easily visible, there was a hut that was built rather unprofessionally, using the tree roots as foundation and using wood around them. As they neared it, Anko opened the gate and asked Naruto in. He was surprised to see that it looked cozy on the inside. Also, it was rather impressive as it was decorated and also well organized. He was a little ashamed that he couldn't even figure out a simple list while she seemed to have used up every corner of the space effectively. Welcome to my heavenly abode. This is the place I come to rest and relax where no one disturbs me. It is like an oasis in a desert, an island in the ocean, a mountain between the clouds, whatever you may call it. I don't like my house in the village that much, so I spend a lot of time here in this place, she said. Wow, this is awesome. Can I come here sometime again? He asked. Sure, but only when I'm around. I don't want anyone sneaking around my house, even if it's you. And you told me you can sense people, right? So make sure no one follows you. You can count the number of people on fingers of one hand who know about this place, including you, so be extra careful, she said. He nodded readily. This house, unlike his own, had no security seals involved. It was probably because this forest itself was far more dangerous than any seal. A civilian would be eaten within 5 minutes of entering this area, if he's lucky enough. Naruto also felt reassured that he could trust the girl enough if she was willing to share her secret with him. In any case, he knew he did need some kind of help to be able to make that list. Anko-san, would you be able to help me out a little? He asked. Anko smirked, having found something interesting to do on a rather monotonous, uneventful day. Scene break and time skip. Both Naruto and Anko reached his home. Anko waited for him to unlock the door but barged in right before him as she was getting impatient, since he had to henge into a civilian and they couldn't cause attention. Also, he had to buy the groceries to cook lunch. Casting off the sandals aside, Anko ironically took her time, as if speculating each and everything that could be used to make the place lively. Naruto quietly followed her, wondering what could be done by watching empty walls and cupboards. After what seemed like eternity to Naruto, Anko finally concluded up whatever she was doing and faced him. They were currently in his bedroom. I must say, kid, you have got a great apartment for just yourself. But what it lacks is liveliness. It's so depressing. I've seen prison cells better than this one. You're lucky I'm here. Don't worry, just grab a pen and paper and write whatever I say, Anko said. The reason the wall looked completely empty was that Naruto had stored away the photo frame of him from his travels since he was worried someone might pull the pieces together and know about where he's been the last few years. After all, there is always a chance someone might break in. Naruto did as instructed and brought the notepad he had been working on and showed Anko whatever he wrote. She tore that page and threw it away, instructing him to categorize all the stuff. Once done, she started rambling different types of things and Naruto was struggling to keep up. How is she even thinking of all kinds of that stuff? What the hell some of these things even mean? Man, this is great. Gigi will be surprised I was able to complete the list. And the talk about women knowing about this stuff, definitely correct, he thought. He couldn't believe how she quoted up the exact number and description of whatever could be needed. By the time she ended, half the notepad was filled and his hand was aching. Anko had a satisfactory smile knowing she didn't leave anything out. Wow, that was awesome. It's like you are an interior designer or something, he said. Anko just laughed loudly and replied, Believe me, Naruto, I'm not at all an expert in these nids of things. You should check the women out there who know the real stuff. Naruto just gaped in awe as to how someone could be better than this. But again, there was much in this world he didn't know about yet. So how are you gonna buy these things again? I don't think a kid like you would have enough money, she asked curiously. Well, Gigi said it won't be an issue, but I would have to cross out some of the less necessary things, he said, not wanting to be direct about it. Who are you talking about? She inquired. Well, the Hokage, of course, he replied. Lord Hokage? She shouted in surprise. Hey, why were you shouting like that? He said. I'm sorry. It isn't a surprise, although, since he also helped me when that Basta man left me with this curse. I will always be grateful, she said. Yeah, right. It didn't sound like you were surprised. He rolled his eyes sarcastically. Shrugging off his comment, she said, So, when will you be buying all these things? I can drop by to help. It's not like I have anything better to do. I'll have to show the list to Gigi first. He asked me to come after a few days to talk about some things, he said. Okay. I'll be at Amiguriyama, the dango shop, for next 4 days in the morning for breakfast if you want to meet then. If you are late than that, I won't be able to help since I have a mission afterwards, Anko said. Knowing the location, which wasn't too far from Ichiraku's, he nodded in affirmation. Thank you for helping, he said. Don't mention it, as I already said, I have nothing better to do right now, she said as she left. Great, I didn't even imagine it could done that easily, he said, but then a realization struck him. What am I going to do now to pass the time? Time skip, 3 days later. Naruto was currently standing in front of the gate of Hokage office around late morning. He had passed the time mainly by studying the scrolls and books that Tsunade had left with him. He did buy a few novels from the shops using a henge to pass the time, but those were quickly finished. Other than that, there wasn't anything that he considered even vaguely interesting at the time. He had also given the required details for the alternative ID that were needed the next day. He had to cut short the list now instead of trying to fill it. At least this was easier. He crossed off most of the decorative stuff and also the things without which he could manage easily enough. He knocked and waited for the Hokage to permit him to enter. Once he opened the gate, he saw that the Hokage had cleared up most of the paperwork already, or maybe burned them to ash, who knows. He exchanged greetings and then came directly on to the topic. I have made a list of whatever items that I need like you told me. Here, you can have a look, Naruto said as he presented a different notepad on which he had neatly written the final checklist. The Hokage was impressed to see that he had indeed written down everything that was expected. Good. But I can't believe you did this all by yourself, Hokage said. Actually, I didn't. I had someone help me with all this. Truth be told, I wouldn't have been able to make it even if you have me a month, he said. I didn't know you had friends around here. That's good to know. Who was this, if I may ask? Hiruzen said. Her name is Anko Mitarashi. I didn't know her until a few days ago. I kind of ran into her in the training grounds when I was taking a stroll, Naruto said. Oh, so you've already befriended Anko. I suppose that it's good you had help. Although it defeats the purpose that you do it by yourself. Well, at least you tried, the Hokage said. Naruto just gave an uncomfortable laugh. Now, first take this. The alternative ID, A/N, glorified name of fake ID, which he needed has been prepared, Hokage said, giving him a laminated card. Naruto accepted it and carefully tucked it in his pocket. I have cleared up my schedule for today so we can head out anytime now. Come on, the Hokage said. Wait, but where are we going? I just needed some money so I could buy all the items I need, Naruto asked. Just come along, would you? I will explain it to you once we reach there, Hiruzen said as he walked out followed by Naruto. Scene break and time skip. Naruto was looking up at a huge building with the title saying Reserve Bank of Konoha on a beautifully designed leaf-shaped board. The building was the head office of the bank, which also had other smaller offices throughout the village. This was the only bank through which all the transactions occurred, since allowing multiple banks would increase the chance of bypassing transparency of the financial inflow and outflow of the capital through the village. Although the use of cash could still be another way for the shady businesses, it did prevent exchange of larger amounts of money without increasing the chances of getting caught. The building was quite flashy compared to the simple design of the Hokage office, since that place represented a symbol of power, while this one represented the flourishing and luxury that the village had. It was also partly due to the fact that important persons from all over the Land of Fire also used the services of this bank, finding it to be more safer and trustworthy. As a result, it was also highly guarded and secure, since attempt at a sabotage to this place could also deal a heavy blow to the village. Naruto just stood there admiring the building, since he never came here before now, as there was never a need. He also now understood why the Hokage brought him here. Come on, we don't want to spend the whole day here, the Hokage said. Wait a minute, you forgot to take out some money so you dragged me all the way here? Why not just call me at a later time? Or maybe send someone else to fetch it? Your Anbu? Literally anybody else? Naruto accused. It isn't what you think. Just follow me and halt your questions for a while, he said, ignoring the questions as he entered the building through the glass doors followed by Naruto. They were promptly greeted at the reception and escorted to an office on the topmost level of the building. To Naruto, it seemed like a royal corridor belonging to a luxury hotel. At the time, they were being led to a specific office. The end came at a wooden gate, which was itself a piece of art, and on which was a metal plate which told them that it was the office of the highest-ranking official in the whole bank, reading President. The escort knocked on the door and with permission invited the guests inside. He left as soon as all of the people were inside the room. The room was no less sumptuous than the outside, if not more. It extended on the right side of the door, having a single window on the front covered by curtains. A wooden bookcase stood behind the table and chair on which the man was seated. The man stood from his chair and greeted the Hokage properly. Hokage-sama, it is an honor for us to have your presence here. Why bother coming all the way here, although you could have just sent a word and I'd come to your office? The man said. Oh, there's no need for that. I've come here for some personal business. And sitting around all the time won't do any good to the stiff joints this old body has, the Hokage replied politely. Naruto was observing the man as he spoke to the Hokage. He looked a little younger than the Hokage, but still was an old man with gray hair. He had wore a traditional outfit compared to most of the other staff working at the bank. It was probably due to the generation gap, and he still preferred conventional garments. His posture was straight yet respectful while talking to the Hokage. And who else do I have the pleasure to make acquaintance with today? He said, looking at Naruto. Ohayo gozaimasu, Aji-san. My name is Naruto, Naruto said respectfully. Ohayo, Naruto-san. It's nice to meet you. Please, both you have a seat, he said. Once they were seated, the man sent for someone to bring them tea. This is an old friend of mine, Raizu. He's been running this bank for a lot of years, and I don't know anyone who is half as able to manage things smoothly as he can. He always has been an expert at finance and economics, the Hokage said while facing Naruto. You humble me, Hokage-sama. I've just been trying to do my best at the responsibility I've been given, nothing else, Raizu said with a smile. I'm not going to take much of your time, so let's get to the work I'm here for, Hiruzen said. Of course, how can I help you today? Raizu said with a business-like expression. The Hokage pulled out a scroll and put it in front of the man on the table. The details of an account in this boy's name under my guardianship are in the scroll. It was until now a deposit-only account, but now I'd like to convert it for withdrawal as well. Also, I'd like to have a specific withdrawal limit per month started from next week, he said. Of course, that can be arranged easily. You might already know, but in case the ceiling limit is reached, we will require a document duly signed by you, the guardian, to withdraw from the rest. Is that okay with you? Raizu asked. Yes, I understand completely. It is as I wish, the Hokage said. Very well. I will need a little more documentation from both of you, but it won't take much time, Ryza said as he made a call. A woman appeared at the door who was instructed by the president to carry out the work. Naruto, I will need you to go with her for some identification details. Don't worry, she will explain everything to you, Ryza said. Naruto, who was listening quietly through the whole conversation, just looked towards the Hokage, who nodded. He then walked off, following the lady out of the room. Hokage-sama, if I may ask, isn't this the same child who I think he is? Ryza asked hesitantly. The Hokages glared at the man with stern eyes and said, yes, he is. And don't forget that he has a name too, it's Naruto. I apologize, I didn't mean it like that. I was just concerned if giving a child like him liberty, and that too to someone as Naruto, would be the right decision, not that I question your wisdom, Ryza said. You don't see him as himself yet, my friend. He will be an exceptional shinobi someday and a great asset to the Leaf Village. Remember my words, and maybe sometime in the future when you recall them, you may understand, the Hokage said, sipping his tea. If you say so with such confidence, I don't have any doubts myself. I do hope you're right, for the best of the village, Hiruzen-senpai, Ryza said with a smile on his face. After some time, as they made small talk, Naruto returned with the same woman who was holding a bunch of documents in an envelope. Sir, all the formalities are done except for the guardian's signature in a few places, she said, handing over the documents and the envelope to the man. Ryza got the signatures from Hiruzen and handed over all of them except the envelope to the woman who left the room. Handing over the envelope, Ryza said, this contains all the things related to this account, including the debit card. The sealing will be started from the next week, which will be 15,000 ryo as mentioned in the scroll. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, that will be all for today. Thank you, Ryza, the Hokage said. The pleasure is all mine, Hokage-sama. And it was nice meeting you, Naruto-kun. I hope we meet again soon, Ryza said. Thank you, Ryza-san. It was nice meeting you too, Naruto said politely with a slight bow. With that, they left the office and once again were in the front of the office building but facing the opposite side. Now that we have completed our work here, do you need anything else? The Hokage asked.